and gentlemen, it's time for tonight's proud military moment presented by Ramjack Foundation Repair, proud supporters of those who have served. Each game we take a moment to recognize the courage, commitment, and sacrifice of the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. From all branches, past and present, we thank you for your service and dedication. Please join us in a round of applause as we salute our military heroes. Thank you for protecting our freedom. This proud military moment is brought to you by Ramjack Foundation Repair, standing strong with those who serve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors and the playing of the national anthem. We ask that you remove your hats as we pay honor to America with the national anthem. Remain standing until the American flag leaves the field. Tonight's national anthem will be performed by the roaring band from Tigerland under the direction of Mr. Terry Gordon.
It's one of the top district games in the Houston area this week, maybe even across the state of Texas, as tonight we welcome you into Mike Johnston Field at Legacy Stadium in Katy for Week 8 of the 2025 Texas high school football season as the 4-2 Katy Tigers take on the 5-2 Warriors of Katy Jordan. Hello, everyone, whether you're watching us on TexanLive.com or for free on YouTube at youtube.com/@DaveCampbell's. Welcome into the Dave Campbell's Rising Game of the Week broadcast booth. I'm Gavin Moritz, and joining me to my right this time is Dave Campbell's own Carter Yates. We've also got GP, our Director of Recruiting, that's Greg Powers. And Carter, we'll start with you. One of the most competitive districts, right, in Texas high school football. It's 19-6A. They started district play back in Week 3. That's how big this district is, and this game some massive implications.
This could be the de facto District 19-6A championship because Katy Jordan is 5-2 on the year, and the Katy Tigers are 4-2. But two programs who are both playing excellent football, but with different histories. Katy Tigers are all history. Gary Joseph has been at this school since 1982 under Mike Johnson, who this field is named after. He is 280-30, and they've been part of 8 state championships. Katy Jordan has been playing football since 2020 and had their best season in their short program history last year at 11-2. So the new school versus the old school here in Katy ISD.
And Powers, will go to you. A historic Katy program, like Carter said, a very young Jordan program that is coming off, like we said, their best season in program history last year in 2024. Regardless, both teams have guys to watch tonight. Talk to us. You know the drill.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I'm really fired up for some of the young guys on the Katy Jordan sideline, and there's some injuries on this Katy Jordan team, namely Tanner West, who's going to be out for this game. He's a Kansas State commit. Filling his shoes is going to be one of the top uncommitted players in the class of 2026 in Texas, and that's Ty Sexton. He scores a lot of touchdowns. He's a guy who can be very versatile within that offense. And there's a couple Williams coming up. In the 2027 class, you have Landon Williams, and in the 2029 class, you have Rush Williams. He's already got an offer from Oregon, just a freshman. But Katy's going to counter that with some big, tough tough guys in the trenches, and one of the guys I'm really going to be keeping my eyes on tonight is Isaac Coffrin, offensive tackle number 78. He switched over from the defensive front, so you know that he has good footwork and good foot speed, and he's a big dude. I saw him on the sidelines. He passes the eyeball test.
And as we see here, Katy Jordan has won the opening coin toss. They will defer their option to the second half. And so we will see the Katy offense presumably come out first. And the Katy Jordan defense will get their first crack at this Katy offense. Carter, talk to us about the Tiger O.
They're led by Tremaine Hill, the senior running back. He's got a Division I offer to Washington State, and this year he's got 962 yards and 15 touchdowns on 9.8 yards per carry. The Katy offense is a throwback style. They like to play smash mouth football, and that could play to their advantage tonight because I know, Gavin, you were on the field pregame. It's quite windy out there, so they're going to ground and pound. Won't have to worry too much about throwing the ball through the air, but when they do, Jackson Franklin can hurt you with his arm.
Combating that, I think, is Zachary Taylor. And interesting thing, he's a TCU commit. He's committed there to play defensive back. He's a great defender, but due to these injuries, they're going to use Taylor some on offense tonight as well and get him the rock, Carter. So I'm interested to see if Taylor can be that jack of all trades like a Tanner West was within this offensive game plan.
Opening kick will be delivered. Here for the community coffee opening kick. We are underway off the foot of Jonah France. Katy will watch this one sail into the end zone for a touchback. And out will come the Tiger offense to the 25-yard line. They are led, as Carter said, by the senior tailback Tremaine Hill. And Powers, I got to say, we'll talk about Tremaine Hill first. I think he's one of the more underrated tailbacks in the state of Texas, particularly in the class of 2026.
Well, I mean, every year it seems like Katy produces a top running back, and Tremaine Hill is next in line. This is our chance to get our eyes on him firsthand. Is he a three-star type of dude? Should he get a rise in the recruiting rankings? I guess tonight could tell that tale.
First and 10, Katy from their own 25-yard line. Under center, Jackson Franklin, the senior quarterback. Toss play, Tremaine Hill. Searching for a block. Here's Tremaine Hill turning it upfield. He stumbles, recovers, and he's down to the 39-yard line. First down, Katy on their first play from scrimmage. It's a gain of 14.
And Coach Gary Joseph told us in the pre-production meeting this offensive line has grown up tremendously. Katy started 0-2 this year, but since then they have won versus Katy Morton Ranch 57-0, 56-28 against Cinco Ranch, 52-7 against Seven Lakes, and 57-6 against Katy Taylor. This offense has been humming.
Now it's a first and 10 here from the 39-yard line. Give it off again, and this time it's going to be a gain of about 3 up to the 42.
And one of the guys on this Katy offensive front, we saw Jackson Heyman get out on that first block and lead the running back down the field, but a guy that I'm really kept keeping my eye on throughout the course of this game is big number 67, Edesoye. He was one of my top uncommitted guys in this class, and since that time he's been picking up some offers, and Texas State has shown him a whole lot of interest. Senior who's really starting to grow up, right in front of our eyes.
Second down and 7 here from the 42. A minute gone by in the first. Handoff Tremaine Hill, stumbling, cutting up the gut, and Tremaine Hill makes it to the 44, a gain of 2 to bring up now third down and 5.
Well, Tremaine Hill has been a starter on this Katy Tigers team since his sophomore year. And Powers, you mentioned all the star running backs they've had. He's the 7th leading rusher in Katy high school history, and we're halfway through his senior year. He's 200 pounds. He doesn't mind getting the tough yardage, though. Let's see, they lean on him here with a third and medium.
10:35 to play in the first. Third down and 5 from the 44. Handoff, Hill, stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Tremaine Hill going nowhere on third down and 5. May have even lost half a yard, and now it's fourth down, and the Jordan defense gets a stop to open the night.
And that was big Jimmy Frisco Alosuliafo getting in there with his first big stop of the night. He's a commit to North Carolina. Bill Belichick knows something about the defensive lineman, but breaking news for you guys, a little bit of breaking news. He picked up an offer from Ohio State this week.
Yeah, he is a fantastic player, and Coach Mike Robbie had said that he brings a mentality to this defense that where he's got 10 tackles for loss, and he's just always in the backfield.
As the punt here is up and away from Colt Veneer, and this one will take a bounce down to the 30-yard line, touchdown there by a Tiger. And so, guys, the Katy Jordan defense, maybe not as hyped or as lofted up in the pregame stuff that we talked about as the Katy defense, but they get a stop on their opening drive, and now we get to see the Jordan offense come out and talk to you about the Jordan offense, Carter.
I'm looking at Zach Taylor, the TCU cornerback commit, playing wide receiver. As Greg Powers mentioned, they've had some injuries with Tanner West, who is really the heartbeat of this offense, but he is still leading vocally from the sideline. But they're looking for a new running back to emerge tonight.
Speaking of new players for this Jordan offense, Thomas Ugate, the junior, gets a start at quarterback. He's lined up here in the pistol. They hand it off, going to Patrick Spann. PJ Spann, the senior, makes his way to the 32-yard line. A gain of 4 to start the new drive, the first of the night for the Warriors.
Talking with people on the sideline before this game, they have a lot of confidence in Spann, and they look to give him the rock often tonight. So I'm interested to see how this run game combats up against Katy throughout the course of this game.
9:20 to play in the first. Clock is rolling. Second down and 7 from their own 31 for Katy Jordan. Handoff again, PJ Spann. This time he goes straight away. And PJ Spann will make his way to the 34, maybe even closer to the 35, to bring up third down and manageable.
This Katy Tigers defense, that weak Eagle scheme from Coach Gary Joseph, been the defensive coordinator here and kind of the de facto defensive play caller since 1982. And these guys are the most disciplined, well-coached defense we might see all season on this Rising crew.
Now it's a third down and 4. The Katy crowd trying to get a stop as the defense of the Tigers, they're on their feet. Here is Jordan, has 4 yards to go from the 34. Play fake, Ugate. Ugate airing it out downfield, has a separation, and is caught inside the 30. Down to the 15 goes Zach Taylor.
The TCU commit, Carter, I guess that's why you want to put him on offense. He used his speed to get right past the secondary right there, and he was wide open.
How about the throw, too, from Ugate? That almost looked like he was going to touch the moon, but drops it right in the bucket. And that's the kind of spark they're looking for from the quarterback, why they're starting him tonight.
Little Russell Wilson right there, dropping it right in on the deep pass. He's known for those passes. Maybe Ugate will scratch out his own name behind that tonight. The moon ball.
Under 8:20 to play in the first. First and 10 from the 15 in the red zone. Now are the Jordan Warriors. Ugate hands it off to Patrick Spann. PJ Spann stumbling, spinning down to the 8.
PJ Spann with a nice run, but I'm looking at Benedict Okora, the senior tight end. Guys, I know you saw him pregame on the field. He is a grown man out there, and he's playing that up back, sniffer back. He kicked out the Katy Tigers defensive tackle perfectly on that play to open up the lane.
Okora committed to UTEP. He's the brother of Michael Anthony Okora at Cal, and he's a guy who scored a lot of touchdowns in 7-on-7, so it's interesting to see him be such a great blocker so far tonight.
Ty Sexton lined up top at receiver. They stretch it here, going to Patrick Spann. Spann down to the 5. He's right at the line to gain to set up first and goal, and I think they're going to give it to him here.
Spann was on the varsity last year, but has stepped into a major role this year with 6.9 yards per carry, 344 yards on the season. So they're down Tanner West. We mentioned the heartbeat of their team, but also the sophomore Jordan Hightower was a revelation for them this year, but was hurt 3 plays before Tanner West was hurt a couple of games ago. So just bad injury luck on the backfield for Katy Jordan. Spann has stepped up, though.
Lucky for the Warriors, they have playmakers aplenty.
First and goal from the 5. Ugate in the pistol. Handoff, John Okanji. And John Okanji makes his way down inside the 3. May give him back to the 4. Either way, it's a gain of a yard, maybe 2, to bring up second and goal for Jordan.
And I think a common theme throughout the course of this game that we're going to see is these Katy linebackers. Number 28, Jeremiah Smith, Afari Davies right there. Both of those guys were in those tackles, and they are probably what I would consider the QBs of this Katy Tigers defense.
Coach Mike Robbie, very aware of Jeremiah Smith on the other side of the field.
Now it's second and goal here from the 3. Man in motion is Sexton. That play blown dead at the snap of the football.
That was going to be an interesting play right there if they were to get it off. It looked like they had the numbers going to the outside. I think that was going to be a touchdown, Gavin.
As we get the call there that goes against Katy Jordan from our head referee, our white hat, Mike Richard. Here from the Houston Tasso crew, 155. 6:27 to play in the first. Back it up now from a second and goal with a snap of the football at the 3. Now back to the 8-yard line. Second and goal from the 8 for Katy Jordan. Ugate motions Sexton. Play fake, Ugate lofts it wide open, touchdown Katy Jordan. Warriors strike first on the connection to the senior. It's Jackson Allen.
And what a play call right there. The play action had them biting down on the run, and the tight end came wide open right there for the TD.
Yeah, a bit harder on that run fake than the midnight snack, Greg Powers. It faked out the entire stadium.
And Katy Jordan will trot out for the PAT to look to make this a 7-0 lead here in the opening half of this first quarter, almost 6 minutes gone by. As Jonah France, true on the PAT, 7-0 Katy Jordan. 6:08 to play in the first. And what a start it was for the Warriors. They get a 3-and-out on the Katy opening drive. They get the stop. Jordan drives right down the field. The deep ball from Ugate to Zach Taylor sets up a few plays later a touchdown strike from Ugate to Jackson Allen.
I love how they're building confidence for the new starter in Ugate because, yes, he's throwing it down the field, but with the play action that they're setting up, he's got guys open, and he can just let it fly and build some quick confidence there. Like on that touchdown play, the entire Katy defense bites on the fake, and it's just a pop pass for a touchdown. Now you can see Ugate's going to start letting it spin out here the rest of this game.
The Warriors covered 72 yards and 7 plays for the touchdown.
And so it was officially a 7-play drive that spanned over 70 yards for Jordan. And they got over half of that, guys, in that deep ball like Carter just alluded to from Ugate to Zach Taylor. And Powers, we talked about it and touched on it a little bit already. Zach Taylor's a guy you like a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's a very physical defensive back, and TCU did a really good job in his recruitment. He was at one time committed to Utah, flipped his commitment, decided to stay in state. And the reason why I like him is I think that he could really fulfill any secondary role once he gets to college. He could be a safety, nickel, or play corner.
And a guy so athletic here, Carter, that they're letting play receiver, and he's showing off the hands.
Well, they're looking for offensive playmakers to step up. We mentioned they've been hit with the injury bug and really didn't start to get healthy until last week's Katy Cinco Ranch game. So this is about as full strength as we're going to see this Katy Jordan team through the rest of the season. Who's going to step up for the back half?
France sends it away. And Katy will watch this one sail through the end zone for a touchback for the second consecutive kickoff from Jonah France, and the Tigers come out to the 25. And we talked about the Katy Jordan run they've been on so far. They have dropped 2 games, one week 2 against Fort Bend Travis, 27-16, but then week 6 at Cinco Ranch, 24-21 in a tight one. Sprinkled in there, though, 5 wins, and they sit here at 4-1 in 19-6A district play. Get to Katy's schedule run so far through the first 7 weeks in a moment, including a week 6 bye week now 2 weeks ago. First play of the new drive, toss, Tremaine Hill trucking his way through a couple defenders, and he's slung forward to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 5.
I'm looking at big Isaac Coffrin on the right tackle spot, kicking out that defensive end. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he started on varsity as a freshman. That doesn't happen very often at a program this historic like Katy. Now moved to the offensive side. Great positional versatility, just a smart kid that can handle all these responsibilities.
2nd and 5 here from their own 30-yard line for the Katy Tigers. Lining up under center in the signature Tiger I formation, Jackson Franklin. Franklin, who on the year has only thrown it 44 times. Meanwhile, Tremaine Hill up over 100 carries now in the season. Timeout here is called by Gary Joseph, the first of the night for Katy, as this timeout is brought to you by the City of Katy. Small town charm, big city convenience. Visit cityofkaty.com to learn more or schedule your visit today.
And shout out to the City of Katy for showing out at this game. We took a walk around the stadium, and there's people lined up before the gates even open trying to see this big-time district matchup. I see on this other side, Katy Jordan, a sea of black here. They're faithful, a young program, but with such immediate success. Like, they already got a guy in Andrew Marsh playing meaningful snaps at Michigan. He was a star on last year's team. This is quickly becoming a D1 factory.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's stars all over both of these sidelines tonight. And like you said, credit to the fans. Early kickoff tonight at 6:30, and they were funneling it.
Back from the stoppage, the timeout was called by Gary Joseph. Handoff coming out of the timeout going to Tremaine Hill. Hill trying to churn forward for a first down, a couple extra shoves. Hill's going to be close, but he's going to be a yard short to the 29, or the 34, that is. It'll bring up 3rd and 1 here.
team effort right there on that run. He had some of his offensive linemen pushing him, and you know it's so dangerous when you're in the middle of that pile. I know every Katy Jordan defensive player was trying to rip that ball out and get it on the ground.
Katy looking to convert and keep this drive moving along across the 35-yard line. Here, 3rd and 1. Handoff. Tremaine Hill is stonewalled again on 3rd down. Jordan reads that one the whole way, and Tremaine Hill loses a yard. 4th and 2 coming up for the Tigers.
Jimmy Frisco, Alu Suliafo stonewalled that rushing attempt. That's where Katy is so demoralizing for most teams, because the entire stadium knows they're going to run it on 3rd and 1. But very rarely do you have a team with the dudes on the other side to where they can do something about it. And Jimmy Frisco did it.
And it was 3rd down both times, Carter. 3rd down when they needed someone to step up and make a play. It was Jimmy that stepped up there to make sure that he made a big play. I can see why Ohio State extended him an offer.
High end-over-end kick here from Colt Vanier. Fair catch called for just shy of the 40-yard line, and Katy Jordan's offense will trot back out here, guys. An opportunity to take a 2-possession lead on the Tigers.
And they deferred their option to the second half. So if they do score here, that puts Katy in a 2-touchdown hole, and they're kicking the ball away to start the second half.
I wanted to get a quick correct. It's Suliafu. I just wanted to make sure. I did mispronounce his name at the beginning, but it's such a big-time player. I want to make sure that I get it right moving forward.
And you're going to have a lot more chances to say his name right, because we're going to be calling it a lot tonight.
So here come the Jordan Warriors, starting 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line, 10 yards shy of the midfield stripe. Ugate zips it far side, pass caught, and thrown across the line to gain across midfield for a 1st down. There on the receiving end goes Landon Williams, the junior.
How about the zip on the ball from Ugate?
Yeah, I mean, he showed that he could throw that deep ball, dropped it right in the basket, and right there he needed to put some arm into it, and he did just that. I love the route there from Landon Williams as well. A lot of high school receivers know how to run the deep route, but it's not too often that they can sit down right like that and bust off a defensive back and be that open.
Under 3:40 to play, opening quarter, 1st and 10, Katy Jordan from midfield. They stretch it, now cutting it back up the gut is Span, and this time he's not really going anywhere, a gain of a yard to the 49 of Katy.
I felt that hit from Jeremiah Smith, the inside linebacker up here in the broadcast booth. This dude is a thumper, a 3-year starter. That's what makes Katy Tigers defense so dangerous, because not only is Gary Joseph a defensive mastermind, but he has guys like Jeremiah Smith who have started since their sophomore year that know the defense like the back of their hands.
He looks like a He-Man toy. He's just really rocked up, put together, and credit to him for his towel game tonight as well.
Now 2nd and 9 here from the 49. 3 receivers down low for Jordan. They fire it quickly to one of them. That's Ty Sexton. And Sexton makes his way down to the 43-yard line for a gain of 6 to bring up 3rd down and a couple.
Really good block there on the perimeter by Zach Taylor to be able to seal that off. He didn't get called for a holding, so he must not have had a hold of any jersey right there. So credit to him for freeing that play up.
Colt Vanier also had what could have been a touchdown-saving tackle, the sophomore. If he doesn't make that play, Katy Jordan's still running.
Jordan looking to continue the drive, perhaps in 4-down territory. And the Tigers hoping to put them in that decision-making process here after this play. 3rd down and 3. Rolling is Ugate. Getting out of the sack. Ugate now is cut down. Back across midfield.
There was that man, Jeremiah Smith. He's committed to Louisiana Tech, and I think it's quite a steal for that program to get one of the best defensive players in Texas to leave the home state borders and play his college ball in Louisiana. I think he has P4 skills.
Massive play, too, because, Gavin, you mentioned it. That was 4-down territory, but they take a sack puts him back behind midfield. Now it's a clear punting situation.
Loss of 10 on the sack from Jeremiah Smith, an absolute drive killer from the Louisiana Tech commit. And now Jordan will be forced to punt it away here. Punt sails through the evening sky here in Katy. And it will be downed, or rather hopping out of bounds across the 20-yard line. And so Jordan there, guys, an opportunity. We said it was 4-down territory. That was too far for a field goal for almost any high school kicker, but obviously too close for a punt there. So had they not converted that, or gotten maybe not a loss of 10, let's say. They would have gone for that. Instead, they have to punt it away, and now Katy gets the ball back, and we were talking about maybe the Tigers, they might be down 2 possessions here if Jordan can get some points. Still a 7-0 lead for Jordan.
I would say, too, that Jordan's got a good game plan going right now. You want to make Katy drive the entire distance of the field with this offense. So they've had long, backed up starting field position, and we'll see if they can get better throughout the course of this game.
Tremaine Hill, first play of the new drive. Flag is down, play is blown dead. False start, Katy. Call incoming from Mike Richard.
False start, offense, 68, 5 yards, still, third down.
And a rare mental mistake from the Katy Tigers. You don't see that often from a Gary Joseph coach team.
Right as Carter about the uncharacteristic penalty along the offensive line of the Tigers. Now 1st and 15, back to the 15. They motion Drake Hopkins. Hand off Tremaine Hill. Tremaine Hill's got a crease, and he stumbles near the line to gain. Right at the 30-yard line, good enough for a first down is Tremaine Hill. First down, Katy.
Think about how good you have to be at running back to be the 7th leading rusher in Katy Tigers history. This is a school that's produced Seth Davis, who played at Mississippi State, Adam Taylor, who had 44 touchdowns in a season, and Rodney Anderson, who played at Oklahoma. This is an RB factory.
And the latest product of the RB factory, Tremaine Hill gained just enough, right over 15 yards for a first down to the 30-yard line. They toss it back to him here. Tremaine Hill, another good game. This one a pickup of 9 to the 39-yard line, right shy of the 40, and it's going to bring up second down in the yard.
And it looks like every carry he's starting to pick up some steam, getting a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and he's starting to gash this Katy Jordan defense right now.
Well, when you're hammering in a nail, the first couple hammers, that nail doesn't move very much, but once you get to a certain point, slides right into the wood. That's how Katy's offense tries to operate when they just keep pounding you until you're hoping that defensive line breaks. Now we'll see if Katy Jordan does.
Here in the waning 15 seconds of the opening quarter. Second down in the yard from the 39 in their own territory for Katy. Hand off Tremaine Hill looking for the first down. He's got it easily on a gain of 3, maybe 4. And that will conclude the first quarter. We've played 12 minutes. And after one complete year score, Katy Jordan 7. The Tigers nothing, but Katy driving. They've got a first down from their own 42. 8 yards shy of midfield when we come back for the second quarter.
I still remember Mom leaving work early to bring me to all my football games. Long before the Friday night lights, the road to the end zone starts right here. And behind every touchdown is a mom, making sure her players get there on time. At Garage Door Doctor, we've had mom's backs for over 38 years. From simple repairs to upgrades, Garage Door Doctor keeps moms and players in the game.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
We're back here on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, the DCTX Rising Game of the Week, and there you see tomorrow night, about 27 hours from now or so, we got the after party coming up on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, or really wherever you stream all Dave Campbell's Texas football platforms. It's Texas football tonight. Ashley Pickle, Greg Tepper. It's the after party, guys.
I've baked it into my Friday night routine. I go to a game and cover that, but when I'm at a game in the atmosphere, it's great. I just don't know what's happened through the rest of the state. So as I'm on my drive home, I go to YouTube Live. I look at Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight, the after party with Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle.
I love to watch it on streaming. It's part of my Saturday morning routine before I get geared into the college football day. I got to see what happened in Texas high school football, so I knock that off the list while I'm having my oatmeal.
And here we go, a 1st and 10 to start the second quarter for Katy from their own 42-yard line. Through 12 minutes, Jordan leads 7-0. This play blown dead at the snap. Another false start against Katy.
All-star, offense, 24, still, first half.
And a run-based offense, those false starts hurt because you live on staying ahead of the chains in this I-formation attack. Once you're at 1st and 15, you're relying on Tremaine Hill to just do something special and break one.
And they've got Zach Taylor now covering, who I think is their best playmaker in Cade McCall on the outside.
Tremaine Hill on 1st and 15. He will make his way to the 41-yard line, a gain of about 4 to bring up 2nd down and 11.
I called that out because I think it's interesting to note when you think it's going to be a passing situation, they want to make sure they get their best defensive back on the field to match up with Katy's best wide receiver.
And Carter, the thing about this Katy offense, you never know when they're going to throw the football. It usually comes when you least expect it.
And they have set up a play-action pass here coming soon.
2nd down and 11 from the 41. Looking to throw straight from under center is Jackson Franklin. Airing out downfield, he overshot his intended target inside the 20, and it's incomplete in the direction of Cade McCall, the Utah State commit.
And that's how they like to get within this offense. They like to take deep shots, pound the rock, and take some deep shots. And they've had plenty of wide receivers over the years who can make them able to do that successfully. You talked about Rodney Anderson. Nick Anderson was a really top-tier wide receiver within this offense, and now they look to Cade McCall to be that guy.
11:24 to play first half, and now Katy well behind the sticks on 3rd down and 11. Man in motion across the formation. Another false start against Katy. Another uncharacteristic mistake by Gary Joseph's squad. And another false start call here from Mike Richard.
And you see Katy Jordan's defenders are trying to hype up their band and their crowd. They know they're starting to have a bit of effect on this game because Katy's offense is nearer the hash to the Jordan side, and they got a nice crowd out there.
Carter, I would say this is a true passing situation here for Katy, but is it ever really?
I was about to make that point of play earlier, Powers. I don't know what is a true passing situation for the Katy Tigers offense.
Here on 3rd and 16, it's a draw play going to Tremaine Hill. Bouncing outside. Tremaine Hill needs a bunch. Tremaine Hill out of bounds, shy of the 50. He's going to come up about 3 or 4 yards shy of the line to gain for a 1st down. They give him midfield. It'll be 4th down and 2.
What a run. We know he's got the power, but he's also a jitterbug back there, the way he bounced that to the outside.
Why throw it when you can pick up 15 on the ground, right? You know, you can just go ahead and feed Tremaine Hill, and it looks like they're bringing the punt unit on here.
That they are, as Colt Vanier will trot out here for presumably another boot away to this Jordan Warriors return unit.
And you have to think that Gary Joseph's thinking about the time they got stonewalled twice on 3rd and short.
Well, this is going to be a field position game, it looks like, out of the gates. You know, this gives them an opportunity to pin back Jordan deep and maybe get the ball in more favorable field position on their next drive.
Punt sails in the direction of a fair catch. It's reeled in on a diving effort from Zachary Taylor.
I love how Zach Taylor fielded that punt instead of letting it bounce and dribble inside the 20-yard line. So many times in high school, you see a punt returner get a little nervous to go and try to make a play on the ball, and it results in losing about 10 to 15 yards of field position. But Taylor has to dive for it. Awesome fair catch. High football IQ play.
You took the words right out of my mouth, and I'm even more so impressed by Taylor's football IQ on that play, but also being able to play offense, defense, and special teams in this game so far.
And so here comes Thomas Ugate, the junior quarterback, and the rest of this Warrior offense, 1st and 10, minus 29-yard line. In motion is Ty Sexton. They give it off here to P.J. Spann. And Spann with a couple extra shoves from the big boys up front and gets his way to the 36 for a gain of 7.
One of the clear strengths for Katy is its offensive line, and when you see that big offensive line for Katy, you have to wonder how Katy Jordan matches up with them. They don't have dudes that are as big as Katy's guys, but so far in this game, they've been doing work.
And they'll try to do some more work here on 2nd down and 3 from the 36, needing to get across the 39 to move the sticks. They motion Sexton in the flat. Ugate fires low, and it's caught across the 40-yard line. 1st down, Katy Jordan, to the hands of Landon Williams, the junior, who's got 11 catches coming in.
Landon Williams, only 11 catches coming in. He's made some big-time plays here tonight. Power shouted out earlier the route on a curl, and then that's a tough catch to make. Thrown a little bit behind because of the Katy pressure. It almost looked like it got tipped. Great concentration.
Yeah, he's an impressive young wide receiver. He's already got offers starting to flow in, so he's definitely going to be a D1 guy. This team's just blessed with a lot of playmakers, so you got to wait your time, earn your spot, and tonight's his night.
1st and 10, the running back is a Kanji. They fake it to him here. They dump it off, going to Zach Taylor. Taylor spun down to the 46, a gain of 3.
Number 0, Cooper Knott, the nickel on that play. Gary Joseph said he knows the playbook the best, so he does a nice job of getting these Katy Tigers lined up right, getting them to the right checks. Also, the open field tackle there was huge from Katy because when they started 0-2, that was the biggest issue with this defense. They had double-digit missed tackles in both of those games. So they've cleaned that up so far the rest of the season.
Now 2nd down and 7 here for the Warriors. Pumping. Ugate, middle, low. Is that intercepted? They're going to say incomplete. And if you're a fan of Katy Jordan, they're very thankful right now because that was nearly picked off by Knott, who we just talked about.
And we're going to call Knott's name a lot more times tonight. Coach Mike Robbie was extremely aware in the defensive preparation looking at Katy about Cooper Knott and the plays he can make.
Good job by the refs there. It looks like looking at the replay, that ball did bounce off the turf. It's a little bit hard to tell from our vantage point, but I think that was a quality call.
And here with 9:14 to play in this first half. 3rd down and 7 from their own 46 for the Warriors. Ugate way downfield, trying to catch up to it, unable to do so. It's incomplete. Ty Sexton, as overshooting him was Thomas Ugate, and it's 4th down.
He just needed a little bit more air under that pass. The wide receiver did have a step on the defensive back there as the route advanced. If he would have hit him with the moon ball, I think it would have dropped in.
Ty Sexton has 7 offers. Greg Powers working in at wide receiver too, so another big-time playmaker. We sound like broken records talking about all these future D1 guys playing out here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's one of the top uncommitted guys in the state. Transferred over from Cypress Bridgeland, so this was a huge ad for Katy Jordan.
And now Katy Jordan will boot it away in the direction of the Tigers. Low line drive kick. We'll take a Warrior bounce just across the 25-yard line, nearing the 24. As that will bring back out the Katy offense here with 8:58 to play in the first half. As here this game on Dave Campbell's Texan Live is sponsored by Body Armor. Body Armor, more than a sports drink, and by Elite Source Evaluators, the source for evaluating top athletes, identifying, ranking, projecting top high school players, and providing insight and exposure to help them stand out in the recruiting process.
Going back to Landon Williams as they come out onto the field, he's already got offers from Texas Tech, UTEP, and UTSA, which tells me that he dominated the camp scene.
Under 9 minutes to play first half, 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Tigers. Tremaine Hill, nowhere to go, back to the line of scrimmage, nothing else.
Just trying to see the number of the man who was in on that tackle. It's number 35, Carl Wesley. Wesley with a nice hit stick coming up from the outside linebacker spot.
Got a tough task to drag Hill down, especially the way he did. Just dropped him right where he was standing. Tremendous job by number 35 on that defensive play.
Single back set here for Katy on 2nd down and 10. Play fake. Rolling is Jackson Franklin. He dumps it off. It's low, and it's going to be incomplete. A defender draped all over the receiver either way to bring up 3rd down and 10.
Sometimes we're at these Texas high school football games and we get one that just goes off script or things are a lot different than we expected in our minds. But following last year's score in this game, I think it was 17-7 in favor of Katy. This game is playing out in a very similar fashion. And so far, Katy Jordan has done a tremendous job of keeping the Katy offense playing behind the chains and make it difficult for them to hit the big play.
That game last year won only 2 losses for the Warriors, the other coming to Summer Creek in the postseason. Franklin rolling all the way back inside his own 10 on 3rd and 10. Franklin fires downfield. It is tipped in the air, dancing around, and it's incomplete. Finally, that one just falls to the turf near the sideline.
Franklin trying to make something out of nothing because there was nobody open on that throw. This Katy Jordan defense is reading the Katy offense like a Percy Jackson book right now because on that PA waggle they tried to run, there was no one open. Then Franklin has to run about 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage and chuck a ball deep, kind of like a jackpot ball. Katy Jordan is all over this offense right now.
It looked like there were 3 receivers out in that route, and none of them were open early. So that's why you had to keep scrambling around and throw up a prayer.
After the incomplete prayer ball, it is a punt that will take a favorable bounce for Jordan. That one sails right back near the 40-yard line. They mark it at the 39. Warriors there will set up shop with exactly 8 to play in the first half.
36-yard
I think it's important to note right now, Katy Jordan up 7-0. A lot of time left in this game. Katy does not lose district games. From 2009 to 2020, they had a 75-game district winning streak.
Wow.
That was snapped against Katy Tompkins, and they have not lost since then. So these kids right now were in middle school the last time Katy lost a game.
Talking about
in district.
Talking about some history there for the Katy Tigers, guys. This is also the first season they started 0-2 since I believe the late 2000s, 2008.
Yep, exactly.
They lost
right.
to Dickinson and then to Atascocita, who beat them, by the way, for the 3rd season in a row back in week 2. And that's a thing that hasn't happened to Katy since the 90s.
Well, Gavin, can you remember what happened that 2008 season when they started 0-2 the last time? They won the state championship. So that was Gary Joseph's message to his team after the first 2 weeks is we have been here before. Y'all have not been here before, but our coaching staff and I have been here before. You know you're not going to win a state championship in the first 2 weeks, but they also had a ton of injuries. They've rotated through 5 offensive linemen have been out. Isaiah McMillan, a senior cornerback team captain, has been out all year. Mason Dismuke, the second-team all-district cornerback, was out for the first 2 games. He is back now, number 4, so they are starting to get healthy at the right time.
That was a good call-out, too, that Katy's got some of their key guys down. Isaiah McMillan committed to Kentucky in the SEC, so that's a huge loss for any secondary.
Since those 2 losses, Katy has rattled off wins by a very large margin over Morton Ranch, Cinco Ranch, Seven Lakes, and last week, Katy Taylor 57-6. But here the Tigers trail by 7, 8 to play, first half, 1st and 10, Jordan from their own 39. Ugate hands it off going to John Okonji. And Okonji will go nowhere. He actually loses 2 back to the 37 to bring up 2nd down and long.
I think that's not the nickelback has the offense tied up in knots right now, the way he's flying all over the field. Almost had an interception on the last drive, made multiple open field tackles, and now he's in the backfield somehow. This dude's everywhere.
Here with 7.5 to play now, quarter 2, in Katy Jordan. Playing the game their way right now, not in a rush, taking their time, and they've got 2nd down and 12 now. 4 wide as Spann lines up now behind Ugate. Ugate zips it far side. That's caught. Ducking out of bounds. There's the guy we've talked about pregame a lot. That's the freshman, Rush Williams.
I'm real excited about Rush Williams' potential. This is a guy who really passed the eyeball test. I went out to specifically watch him run routes in the pregame, and he not only possesses the size, he looks like he's a tremendous route runner. We're just starting to touch the tip of the iceberg on his potential.
Rush there gained about 10 now. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 after the catch and run by Williams out of bounds to the 47-yard line. Handoff, looking for the 1st down, not going to get there, about a yard short. They needed the 49, they get the 48 with Spann.
Number 94, the junior Terry Brister, blew that play up. Comes in from the complete opposite side of the formation, runs that play down, forces a 4th and 1, and it looks like right now Katy Jordan's going to attempt to go for it. And I love this call if they do go for it, because your defense has been holding Katy right now. You want to reward them a little bit by keeping your offense on the field a little bit longer. This crowd senses it too. They're getting loud right now.
4th and 1 from the 48. Stoppage in play, timeout called by Coach Robbie.
Timeout, Jordan.
And this will give Katy Jordan on the offensive side an opportunity here for about 30 seconds or so to think about this. But if you're the Katy defense, now you know, hey, this is what they lined up in, whether they're going to run that play from the start or not. We at least know something they could have lined up in on 4th and 1.
Carter, ask me my play call right here.
Hey, Greg Powers, what's your play call?
Wherever Jeremiah Smith isn't, that's where I'm going with the football right here.
I would agree with that. That's a grown man back there at middle linebacker. I have liked the play calls from Katy Jordan's offensive coordinator, even on that one to Rush Williams, too. If the cornerback's going to give you that much space, yeah, throw a quick out and get your quarterback some confidence. So I'm interested to see what they cook up here. It's got to be deep in your bag of tricks. to get this fourth down.
I like what you said about getting your quarterback some confidence because he came out of the gate strong. He's hit a bit of a lull, so you want to give him some easy passes to get that confidence to continue to stay on the rise because this is a game that you're going to need big plays towards the end of the game, right? We're in the middle of it right now, second quarter, but when the fourth quarter comes, can you trust your quarterback to make the throws he needs to?
Here we've got 6:36 to play in this first half, and Katy Jordan is still in their timeout huddle. The Katy defense is retaking the field.
It's a big-time play call, Gavin, here because I said how much I loved it, but if they don't get this, you're giving the Katy offense that has struggled to get anything going the ball on the plus side of the field with a lot of momentum. This is a big-time call here.
Fortune favors the bold, and Katy Jordan going bold on 4th and 1 from their own 48. Up by 7, over 6.5 to play here in quarter 2. Coming out of the timeout, Thomas Ugate in the gun. Man in motion. Handoff. Span. Dives forward across midfield. First down, Katy Jordan. We said Fortune favored the bold. They're favored. First down, Warriors.
And they snuck Jeremiah Smith on the top side right there on the line of scrimmage. They had motion coming to the opposite side and then hit him right in the middle of the field. I really enjoy the play call there by the Katy Jordan coaching staff.
Warriors will keep the drive moving inside Tiger territory now. The plus 49 with a fresh set. Play fake, Ugate. Ugate taking a shot downfield, man open, it is caught inside the 15-yard line on the receiving end. That's Landon Williams.
Landon Williams is quickly establishing himself as the go-to guy for the new quarterback, Ugate. And Ugate's got an arm on him, Greg Powers.
Yeah, I mean, his deep accuracy has been pretty impressive. He did misfire on one ball, but 2 for 3 so far, 66%. That's putting him up there with some of the best in the state. Those deep passes are the hardest ones to complete.
And I think it's time to remind the viewers he has not started all season. The junior making his first start tonight against the Katy Tigers. This is a big ask for a new starter.
And here after the completion from Ugate to Landon Williams, a big one down to the 12. Now it's 1st and 10 for Jordan. Ugate fires, play is blown dead, false start, Katy Jordan.
And Mike Robbie had said in our pre-production meeting, turnovers and penalties were a big emphasis throughout the early part of this season because Jordan is, locked in and dialed in practice, but sometimes in the game, when the lights get bright, they're just having a couple of these false start penalties and turnovers that are setting them back. We haven't seen it so far tonight, but we saw the first one there.
Back him up 5 yards to the 17. Now it's first down, 15 yards to go for the Warriors. Ugate lines up in the pistol. Patrick P.J. Span right behind him. Ugate far side, dropped right off the fingertips of Sexton.
As multiple times, Katy Jordan's gone to that quick out because these Katy cornerbacks are given a lot of cushion. So I do love the play call to try to get your quarterback the ball out of his hands, get a short completion, but you also got to catch it.
Power is kind of a double-edged sword there. If you press them right, maybe you get beat on the deep ball. It's happened a couple times already. You give them the off coverage, 8 or 9 yards, or throw in the quick out. That time it's incomplete, but like we said, kind of a double-edged sword for the defense.
Well, and you have a little bit more of a luxury from field positioning now because your defense is quite literally at an advantage because they really can't sneak behind you in this type of situation.
2nd and 15 from the 17. P.J. Span spun down inside the 11, a gain of 6. They should give him a couple extra there at the end maybe, and it's going to be 3rd down and 9.
That was a nice cut by Span. I believe that run was slated to go in between the center and the right guard, and instead that was totally full, so he went off the left guard instead.
3rd down and 9 here from the 11. 4:50 to play first half. Katy Jordan trying to extend a 7-zip lead. Ugate fires this side. On the tunnel screen, it's caught inside the 5 and hammered down right near the line to gain is Landon Williams. He is right at the marker for a first down, and he may be a tiny bit short.
He may be short, but what a great play design right there. They put a core in motion. It looked like they were going to throw it to him in the corner of the end zone. They hit the tunnel screen, and it gets him right to the sticks. Interesting play call here, Carter. Did they decide to go for the touchdown, or do they put 3 points on the board? In a hard-hitting game like this is a tough decision.
It looked like they were going to keep their offense before the timeout. Let's see if the extra time to think makes them change their mind. But I agree with what Gavin's been talking about earlier. I like the idea of going for it on fourth down and showing trust in your offense. I don't think field goals are going to win this game tonight against Katy.
Got to be bold to beat the best, and so far in the last several decades, Katy's been the class of this district, and they have been so far this season, sitting at 4-0 in District 19 6A. And if Katy Jordan, like we said, wants to beat them, I also agree with Carter. I don't think field goals are going to cut it, and here on 4th and a yard, we'll see if Coach Robbie agrees.
I'm a fan of going for it here because if you don't get it, Katy's still so far backed up. 4 minutes and 16 seconds left to go before halftime. You're going to make their offense try to march over 90 yards or over 95 yards to try to get a score on the board. Now, they could score from anywhere on the field, don't get me wrong. But
well, this is my line of thinking, too. They went for it inside their own 50-yard line. So if they're going to do that earlier in the drive, they need to go for it inside the opponent's 10-yard line, 5-yard line.
Might have been a tough field goal attempt anyways from the left hash. 4th and a yard here. Both crowds on their feet, 4th and a yard. And Ugate goes with a quick hard count. Katy doesn't bite. Timeout Jordan. Both teams now down to their final timeout of the first half with 4:16 to go until the break. And here it's still 4th and 1, so we got some more time to talk about this, of course. And Powers, what I was trying to tell you is that I think it's a tough field goal attempt here from the left hash. Likely a right-footed kicker, right? So it's kind of an awkward angle for the field goal, I'd think. Either way, or from the left hash, I should say. But from the left hash, either way, that's not the optimal spot for a kick.
Yeah, I'm not as expert on breaking down how kickers are going to make their field goals, but if it were me and I had some money on the line and I had to make this kick, I wouldn't mind backing up 5 yards. Give me a better angle, chance to get it through. So they called the timeout, which makes me think they're still going to go for it here in this situation. I could be wrong about that. That's my kicker analysis. It's not that strong, guys.
Big special teams guy.
Looks like they're going to kick it.
Katy Jordan will try the field goal. Ball's on the 3-yard line. It's 4th and 1. This will be a 20-yard attempt. Off the foot of Jonah France to make this a 10-0 Jordan lead. France from 20. Perfect. And Katy Jordan has a 2-score lead.
France said, don't worry about where it's, what hash mark it's on. I got you.
And I know we were saying we would have gone for it. Hey, there's a reason we're not up 10-0 on the Katy Tigers right now deep into the second quarter.
We'll see how the game plays itself out. But, I mean, at least you don't want to be chasing points at the end of the game, but with a 10-0 lead, you're going to kick the ball off here, hope something big doesn't happen on special teams. But so far, so good for Katy Jordan, making Katy have to drive the full length of the field every time they've had possession of the ball.
I do understand the line of thinking. It would have been demoralizing to not come away with any points on that drive, especially after you went for it on 4th down, had a big-time completion from your junior quarterback. Extend this lead to 2 scores.
Can't say I disagree. 4:13 to play, quarter 2, and the man that just made the 20-yard field goal to put the Jordan Warriors up by 10, Jonah France here will send it back to the Tigers.
Brandon Petway taking off. Former Jordan, number 12, O'Brien.
Kick sails off the right foot of France. Fair catch called for. A couple Tigers nearly collided near the 20-yard line. And out will come the Katy offense. 4:13 to work with. 1 timeout. They trail by 10.
And no sense of panic from this Katy Tigers sideline. But important to note, too, Katy Jordan deferred, so they will get the ball back to start the second half. You want to come away with some points here or risk going down by multiple possessions. Well, they're already down multiple possessions, but if they don't get any points on this drive, Katy Jordan could take the ball back to start the second half and extend their lead.
Tigers here start from the 25, 1st and 10. And hand it off to a new tailback in the game here. Do the Katy Tigers. That looks like Tony Manuel, the senior.
Flag flies in late.
Brought down Carter Francis, number 25, along with Braden Pino, number 22. Gain of 5, 75 tackles.
So we've got here from Mike Richard.
Personal foul, face mask, number 2 on the defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Face mask against the senior defensive back, Austin Baird.
Huge penalty because the Katy Tigers offense has struggled in this first half. You don't want to give them 15 free yards. You want to make them earn it.
Moves the ball to the 45-yard line, 5 yards shy of the 50. Fresh set of downs picked up via penalty here for the Katy Tigers. Franklin, handoff here, goes to Tony Manuel. And Manuel makes his way to the 49-yard line, a gain of 6 into plus territory across the Jordan 49.
Senior safety Austin Baird made a nice tackle on that play because Tremaine Hill still could be running, and Coach Mike Robbie said he is a vocal leader on this team.
Now it's 2nd down and 3 here from the 48. Pitch out, received by Manuel. Spun down to the 41, 1st down, Katy.
Nice little change of pace right there from the Katy offense. Manuel's got a little bit of go juice, ducking and dodging and weaving his way to a 1st down.
Should take us down near the 3-minute mark, and a fresh set picked up for the Tigers to the Jordan 41. Katy on the move. In the pistol, Jackson Franklin. Handoff Manuel. And Manuel goes down to the 38, a gain of 3. And this clock still running down inside, now about 2:45. Both teams a timeout left in the back pocket of Coach Robbie and Coach Joseph. And the 2-minute timeout still to come in about 40 seconds of game time.
The junior Tony Manuel has 485 yards and 7 touchdowns this year on 9.3 yards per carry. So they do use him quite frequently.
Oh, to be a Katy High running back.
2nd down and 7 from the 38. Handoff, Manuel. Manuel, yard shy of the line to gain. It'll bring up 3rd and 1 to the 32.
How about the Katy Tigers switching gears, putting this offense in Manuel with the junior running back? Nice change of pace. And it looks like Hill's coming back in.
I agree with you, Carter. I thought this was a perfect time to maybe give him a different type of look, and now you can go right back to your bread and butter and see if it's popped some things open.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
Takes us down to the 2-minute timeout. 3rd and 1 here coming up for Katy from the 32. And guys, there's still so much time with only 32 yards to go to the end zone here for this Katy offense that they like to do things their way. They like to execute their way. They like to run the football. And they've got all the time in the world to do so right now.
But important to note that Katy does have 1 timeout left, and with a ground-based attack, this clock will continue to run after almost every snap.
Yeah, and they've chewed up over 45 yards so far on this drive. Of course, some of that's been helped along by a penalty, but ran over 2 minutes off of the clock. So you can see they're methodical. They're calculated. They know what works. They don't panic. And that's because they're coached by one of the best coaches in the history of Texas high school football, and Gary Joseph. I know he's not panicked, and that feeds throughout the rest of the team.
Gary Joseph, who Carter mentioned has been here since 1982, became the DC for Mike Johnston's inaugural staff in the early 80s, became the head coach in 2004, and has claimed several state titles since then. Also graced the 2024 gatefold cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Here, 3rd down and a yard from the 32 for Coach Joseph's Tigers. Play fake Franklin. Franklin rolling. Franklin tries to run. He's spun down right at the line to gain.
There's nowhere for Franklin to throw the ball. Looking downfield, Katy Jordan's defensive backs are on them like glue.
It's going to be 4th down, it looks like.
Yeah, tremendous tackle there, too. I mean, whenever he decided to pull the ball down and run, I thought he was going to easily pick up the first down. That distance was chewed up quickly. But again, Carter, you called it out correctly. This secondary for Katy Jordan has been doing a tremendous job in coverage. Nobody was open once again on any of those routes, and that's why he had to pull the ball down and try to use his legs to move the chains.
It looks like we're going to get a measurement potentially here. And Baird, once again, number 2, the senior, the vocal leader, also one of the tackling leaders on this team. He's had 2 big-time hits this drive.
Measurement will come out to the roughly 31-yard line, and a huge one at that.
It's really hard to tell where the nose of that football is. Did he make the 31, or is it just shy?
Doesn't get closer than this, boys.
First down, Katy. The measurement favors the Tigers by the nose of the football, and Katy picks up the first down on 3rd and 1.
That's massive for the Katy Tigers because now they got a fresh set of downs, 1:51 left, got a stoppage of the clock. They're in good position here.
A minute 51 to go in the half. 1st and 10 from the 31 for the Tigers. Clock now resumes running. Franklin, handoff. Tremaine Hill's got a crease with a stiff arm. Tremaine Hill carried out of bounds inside the 15. First down, Katy to the 15-yard line.
Stiff arm through the crust of the earth. There was no touching Tremaine Hill there.
Tremendous job by everybody up front for Katy. I don't even know which offensive lineman to call out. They all did a good job with all their blocks, and he had some wide open territory before you had to hit him with the stiff arm.
Down to a $125. 1st and 10 from the 15. Katy goes heavy.
Katy Jordan late getting a substitution.
Franklin, handoff. Tremaine Hill cut down by the shoestrings to the 11, gain of 4.
1:12 and counting on the clock now.
Baird on the tackle.
Clock not a hindrance, but definitely a factor. And Katy's still huddling, but going quicker.
Under 60 ticks. 2nd down and 6 from the 11. Franklin, handoff, Tremaine Hill. Down to the 9, only a gain of 2. They have 1 timeout left. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. And Gary Joseph will call that final timeout from the near sideline.
It's your best drive of the night. You want to get 6 points on the board. You want to score a touchdown. But I got to think that any points that Katy's able to put on the board right now before halftime is going to be a huge swing in momentum.
Well, this is interesting on 3rd and short. If you don't get the first down, they either need to go for it and get on the ball quickly, or they need to get the field goal team out there right away because that clock will not stop if they put it on the ground.
So Katy now out of timeouts. Jordan just the lone stoppage left in the back pocket of Mike Robbie. It'll be 3rd down and 4 from the 9. 41 seconds to go in the first half, and it's worth noting here, let's say they don't get it. Let's say they don't want to go for it. There is plenty of time to rush out the field goal unit if they choose to go that route.
Oh, exactly. And that's why Gary Joseph was okay calling the timeout there because he wants to talk over this 3rd down play, and he knows if they don't get it, then there's still over 40 seconds left.
41 to be exact. 3rd and 4 from the 9 for Katy.
We ran a little I formation back in my day, Carter, and my favorite play in this situation, tight end dump.
Describe that to me, Powers.
Well, maybe we'll see it right here.
From the 9-yard line, 3rd and 4. Rolling Franklin. Looks, Franklin fires, end zone! Incomplete, he overshot Ricky Fox.
That wasn't necessarily the tight end dump, but it was definitely a play action pass to try to get the tight end involved in the passing game right there. And that was, I believe that was the young sophomore, oh no, he's a senior, Ricky Fox, 6'3", 240 pounds, a big target, and there's some yellow on the field.
Illegal participation. Defense, they got to run penalty. First down.
And that is a
12 men
backbreaker.
on the field for Katy Jordan. You're right, Gavin. A total backbreaker. You had Katy stopped. At worst, you're going to get a field goal there, and instead, it's 1st and goal inside the 5.
It was out of a timeout, too, so it's a crippling penalty.
Too much free on this drive by the Katy Jordan defense. First with the face mask, gives them a free 15 yards, and now 12 men on the field gives them a free 1st down.
35 seconds, 1st and goal from the 4. Clock is stopped to the advantage of Katy. Franklin toss out Tremaine Hill. Tremaine Hill is cut down inside the 1. He did not get there, and the clock will keep running. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Now they got to go.
I think Katy had 2 plays called in the huddle.
Franklin under center. Handoff Hill. Tremaine Hill lunges in. Touchdown, Katy Tigers. It's Tremaine Hill with 14 seconds to play in the half.
The Katyest of all drives right there. They didn't panic. They kept the ball in their playmakers' hands. With 14 seconds remaining on the clock, they were able to get up to the line, get that snap off, and it parted wide open for Tremaine Hill on that run.
Tremaine Hill, who's now up over 1,000 yards on the season, just picked up his 16th score, and that one may be the biggest one yet to potentially cut this to a 3-point deficit with the PAT, which is true. And it's a 10-7 game with 14 seconds to play in the first half.
And that 12 men on the field penalty by Katy Jordan just completely changed the complexion of this game, because now Katy's only down by 3, about to head into halftime. We'll see if that score holds. They could do something here on the kickoff return, but you're right, Powers. Textbook Katy Tigers drive. That's why this team doesn't lose district games. They've only lost 1 since 2009. There's no panic in this squad.
Yeah, I didn't see one guy look like he was confused, didn't know what the script was going to be for that play. They ran right up to the ball, knew what was called from the timeout, and executed on the plan. Also gives them tons of confidence heading into the halftime break.
14 seconds to go in the half. Katy will kick it away from the 40 to Katy Jordan. Warriors got 1 timeout left for Mike Robbie.
Baird and number 3, Pat Sexton.
Of course, that last district loss for the Tigers, the one that broke the streak, coming back in 2020. Anyone know who the quarterback was of that Tompkins team?
Was it Jalen Milroe?
Sure was.
Former Alabama legend. And Katy Tompkins legend.
Kick on the way, angle towards the near sideline. That one goes out of bounds. Flag flies in, and that should set Jordan up with decent field position. Unless they make them re-kick, which I think they might here.
Free kick. About 5-yard penalty, we're going to re-kick.
Not a bad decision. You got somebody back there like Ty Sexton who could potentially hit the gas and take this the distance if he gets the ball in his hands. I'm not kicking it to him here in this situation, though. There's no way I'm trying to let Ty Sexton catch this ball.
I could see Katy doing the exact same thing, just kicking it a little bit shorter so it doesn't go out of bounds.
To send it away here is the kickoff specialist, number 33, Sebastian Perez. Perez not serving as the field goal and extra point kicker. That's Giovanni Moreno. But here, Perez will try not to send this one out of bounds. He will try to force Jordan to, at the very, probably most, return and eat some clock here with 14 seconds to play in the half. They're in a 10-7 Warrior lead on a Thursday night in Katy. Week 8 of the 2025 Texas high school football season. We got a good one.
Looks like they're going to kick it to the right instead of the left now.
High end over end kick will be fielded at the 25 by Jordan. Looking for a crease.
I thought there was one there for a second.
That was Landon Williams down to 8 seconds.
Landon Williams, Ty Sexton, Austin Baird, all 3 of those guys were back deep for that kick, and all of them are very dangerous. Katy was blessed to not be able to give up a big one on that kick.
And for Katy Jordan, they're coming out in the kneel-down formation. They're just going to take this one into the break. Content up 3.
As would I. We're setting up for a doozy of a second half here, fellas.
Yeah, this is hard hitting under the Thursday night lights football. This is what we've come to expect from the DCTX Rising Game of the Week. We've had some really good games throughout the course of the season, and this one is setting us up nicely for a tremendous second half.
Final seconds will trickle away here in half number 1. 10-7, Katy Jordan. They lead the Katy Tigers, do the Warriors at the break. A 3-point game in the DCTX Rising Game of the Week. We're back in 28 for the start of quarter 3. Little hammer time as we welcome you back in the DCTX Rising Game of the Week. Whether you're watching us on TexanLive.com or on YouTube.com/@DaveCamels in our free broadcast of the night, thank you for tuning in. I'm Gavin Moritz. I'm joined still by Carter Yates and Greg Powers. Carter, we'll start with you. Start with Katy Jordan. They lead 10-7 going into the third quarter. What did you like out of the Warriors in that first half?
I really liked the quarterback, Thomas Ugate, making his first start as a junior, throwing the ball some moon balls. It felt like touch the sky, came down in the breadbasket of their receivers, and he showed a lot of guts tonight, making his first start against the Katy Tigers, who we have to remind people, guys, they have lost one district game from 2009 to 2025. They had a 75-game winning streak in district broken in 2020. This team does not lose district games, but they trail here 10-7.
Powers on the flip side, Katie's defense has played pretty well aside from the two scores they allowed, one a touchdown, one a field goal. What'd you like out of the Tigers? Especially we'll touch on that last drive on offense for Katy.
Running back Tremaine Hill, who eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark tonight, has 16 touchdowns now on the season. Picked up a recent offer from Washington State. I got a feeling more are coming his way. And on the other side, linebacker Jeremiah Smith. He's a guy that your eyes are automatically drawn to. And in a slugfest, I like having a blue-collar linebacker leading my defense.
Of course, Katy Jordan won the opening coin toss earlier in this night. They elected to defer their option to the second half. The Warriors going to get to receive here to start the third quarter. Katy to kick it away. Critical in a 3-point Jordan lead. Kick is up and away. That one goes through the end zone. Second half underway. And it's a touchback, and out comes the Jordan Warrior offense. Work to be done.
Yeah, it's going to have to go a long way down the field, which is hard on this Katy Tigers defense, and they've relied on a couple deep shots from Ugate, the quarterback, to Landon Williams, who's having a breakout game tonight. A 2027 prospect. Powers, I know you're high on right now.
Yeah, he already holds offers from Texas Tech, UTEP, and UTSA, which means he had a tremendous camp season. But in the year's biggest game, he's having his breakout moment. More offers are coming his way.
First and 10, Katy Jordan to start the third quarter from their own 25. PJ Spann, the tailback. Give it to him here. Patrick Spann up to the 34-yard line. Gain of 9 to bring up second down and short.
And Spann's also done an excellent job tonight. Again, on varsity last year, but has stepped into a major role with Tanner West, the Kansas State commit, being lost for the year. Tanner West was averaging over 7 yards a carry. He was this team's heartbeat and vocal leader, but Spann filling in so admirably for him.
And if you're a college football fan, as the sniffer back right there in the backfield is number 16, Benny Akora, somebody to keep an eye on. They move him all around the offense and get creative ways. If they're not giving him the ball, it can kind of give you an indication of where the ball may be going.
Second and 1, Ugate zips it near side, pass caught, making a couple Tigers miss to the 45. First down, picked up by Landon Williams.
Ooh, that juke move was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's easy to see why colleges like him. This Katy Jordan team is loaded up with playmakers. Number 11 comes on the field, just a freshman, already has an offer from Oregon. That's Rush Williams. So they have plenty of guys to turn to in the passing game.
A minute gone by, third quarter, first and 10, Katy Jordan. 6 yards shy of the midfield stripe. Spann lined up close right behind Thomas Ugate. They motion Sexton. Ugate play action. Ugate, deep shot. Incomplete, nearly picked off the deflection, intended target Landon Williams.
And that was one of his first mistakes, quite honestly, in this game. He put the ball in harm's way, throwing into double coverage right there, Carter.
And Cooper Knott has had 2 almost interceptions tonight. Had one in the first half that was throwing a heater onto his chest. That one does a nice job flying over the top and would have been a very difficult interception. Knott is flying around the football field.
Smart defense there, too, by Katy. The safety knows that Ugate likes to put the ball up, and he was in good position to make a play on that ball.
That's that halftime adjustments from Gary Joseph.
After the incompletion, nearly a pick, it's second and 10. Ugate fires. High pointed, caught to the plus 49. Goes Landon Williams once again, whose helmet comes off, and he's going to have to check out for a play. Williams none too pleased as Zach Taylor checks in his spot.
We're going to see a chess match between the coaches tonight because, Powers, you mentioned the safety flying over the top. Jordan has hit a couple of those deep post routes on Katy. There was nothing doing there, almost an interception. So interesting to see how this game unfolds with the coaching clash.
Landon Williams comes off, and they bring a TCU commit on to bring in his spot, Zach Taylor. Nice luxury to have.
They look for Zach Taylor, the future Horned Frog. It's incomplete. Flags fly on 3rd and 4.
Zach Taylor making the first down motion. He might not have caught it, but he earned that first down.
I love to throw it to the TCU commit when he comes on the field too, right? You know, he's one of the top players in this game. Why not give him a chance to make a play? And right there, he drew the DPI. First down for the offense. They got the ball in Katy territory, looking to add more points to their lead.
Zachary Taylor, who perhaps just drew a first down penalty for Jordan, checks out. Rush Williams checks in. Holding against the Tigers in the secondary.
And I believe that one was on Mason Dismuke, who was a second-team All-District player last year. He has changed this Katy defense after coming back from injury, where he was out the first 2 games. They started 0-2 without him. He has changed their season.
1st and 10 to the Katy 40 for Jordan. Handoff, Patrick Spann, spun down after a gain of a couple.
I kind of like what the Katy Jordan offense is doing out of the break as well. We talked about Katy making some adjustments in the secondary, but Katy Jordan is spreading them out pretty thin on the defense right now. Throwing the ball deep, throwing the ball underneath, hitting them in the middle. Pretty diverse drive here for the Warriors.
9.5 to play, 3rd quarter, brings up 2nd and 6. Zachary Taylor, the senior, back in. And now they bring him off right out of the huddle. Rush Williams lined up top with press coverage. Handoff going near side. John Akanji. Good run for Akanji. He's about a yard or 2 shy the line to gain to bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it a pair.
What a block from Okura at the up sniffer back.
A tremendous tackle there, too, by senior defensive back Matt Salisbury, coming downhill to make sure that he dropped the running back. It looked like that could have been one of those plays. If he got out of that tackle, it could have been a touchdown.
Perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle from Salisbury. Now it's 3rd down, and they call it a long 3 here from the 33-yard line for Katy Jordan. Play fake. Ugate finds a man wide open, walking in for touchdown number 2 on the night. There's Jackson Allen from 33 yards.
And Ugate is hyped up right now. This Katy Jordan side of the field is going wild. This is the 2nd time tonight that the offensive coordinator has dialed up a perfect tight end pop pass off of play action and left this Katy defense that is normally so disciplined and has played disciplined tonight just grasping for air.
Ugate has shown tremendous poise in this game. He doesn't look like a first-game starter playing in the biggest district game of the year. Play action pass, the receiver was wide open. He didn't overshoot him, he didn't undershoot him, put the ball right on him.
PAT is true from Jonah France. 17-7, Katy Jordan's lead back to double digits with 8:32 to play, 3rd quarter. Get the replay here. They faked it to Spann. And Jackson Allen wide open inside the 20. Escorted into the end zone by a defender for his 2nd touchdown of the night.
There's not a Katy defender within 15 yards of Allen.
He was wide open when he caught the ball. They catch up to him, but at that point it was too late.
And this Katy Jordan sideline, you see right now how hyped up they are. That entire side of the stands erupted on that play. They have a massive student section out here. This game means so much, not only as a district rivalry, but could be a de facto district championship if both these teams take care of business the rest of the way down the line.
Well, there's a lot riding on this game. This is an all Katy district. These guys grew up playing against each other. This means more than football. This is a battle for the city tonight, guys. offense, and Katy Jordan now sees that hope. We talked about Katy's momentum going into halftime, right? They scored a late touchdown, executed everything they needed to on that drive. Jordan answered in a huge way. That was a statement drive right there for the Warriors.
Yeah, say goodbye to that momentum because it's all on the Jordan sideline right now. But still, I look at the Katy Tiger sideline, I see zero panic from this bunch. You see with their demeanor how they have only lost one district game since 2009 because they constantly make the right adjustments, they do not panic, and they just play the game like they know how to.
And so far, the game plan here for the Jordan Warriors on this Thursday night in Week 8 has worked essentially to perfection. They lead 17-7 over one of the most disciplined and well-coached teams in the state of Texas in the Katy Tigers. 8:32 to go, third quarter. Warriors will send it back in the direction of Katy. Kick from France. Fielded on a run, fair catch called for, out come the Tigers. And here for Katy, guys, Carter said, you look at the sideline, they're not panicking, and there's no reason to, right? It's a 10-point game. They clawed back within 3 to end that first half. And this is still very manageable if you're Katy. There's plenty of time, of course, to run your offense, but it's most important here not to panic, right?
Well, we saw the adjustments that the defensive side of the ball made, flying with a safety over the top of those deep post routes. What adjustments did this offense make?
And they're coming out in the shotgun formation to start the second half, so they got some wrinkles planned.
They handed off Tremaine Hill. First play, the second half on offense for Katy, and Tremaine Hill, a good gain to the 33, pickup of 8.
25, Carter Francis for the Warriors. Anyway, 7-2 Tigers.
And this Katy program does have some swagger. I noticed in the pregame banner they ran through, it said, "You wear gold, try winning gold." They've won a lot of gold, 8 state championships to be exact, under Gary Joseph.
Second down, they go fullback dive. About a yard shy of the first.
This is for you, Carter. They gave the ball to the fullback, and you know what? It's your time to shine.
Hey, if you block, you get the rock. And that usually goes for wide receivers, but it also goes for fullbacks in this I formation type offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the key guys in this offense every year for Katy, the fullback, so he gets rewarded, gets some yardage on his stat line.
Third down and a couple feet. Handoff Tremaine Hill. Stumbling, recovering. Tremaine Hill, first down and plenty more. And he's cut down to the 48. Make it the 47, first down Hill.
And one of the things I noticed in the first half is he has tremendous balance, and you saw it on that play as he was slipping out of some tackles. He didn't lose his footing, picked up extra yardage. That's what makes Tremaine Hill so special.
We're kind of 2 initial tackles. Then a stutter step and a miss from the third defender before he picked up the first down and plenty more to the 48-yard line officially. Another fullback dive. Another good gain down to the plus 45-yard line.
Moving
and
the
now
pile.
a couple more.
Fire George on the carry.
As they gave it to Fio George, the junior fullback, who came in with only 4 carries on the season for 18 yards, and he's got 2 already in this third quarter, his first 2 carries of the night.
This is a throwback, smash mouth, slugfest, whatever adjectives you want to use to describe a game in the trenches.
Handoff here goes to the new tailback, and down to the 39 on the gain, Tony Manuel.
And Tony Manuel is that change of pace back. Carter, something that I find interesting, it was 17-7 Katy win last year. We got 17-7 Katy Jordan right now. I'm predicting we're going to have a few more touchdowns in this one.
Oh, I think so too, Greg Powers. And we see this Katy offense has scored 50 points 4 games in a row.
I formation, first and 10 from the plus 39. Toss Manuel. Manuel hitting the sideline, and he's hammered out of bounds at the 30.
And letting the defender hear about it. That was number 0, Mo Poco, coming up and laying the wood. But I'll tell you what, Manuel got him there too. They're hitting down there.
And Tony Manuel with the hit at the end of the play, regardless, picked up 8 to bring up 2nd and 2 from the 31 of Jordan. Now they feed it to Tremaine Hill, who checks back in. Tremaine Hill, a stiff arm. Tremaine Hill down the sideline, and he walks out somewhere near the 14-yard line. He stepped out a little early, but it's a first down into the red zone nonetheless.
I love his change of direction right there. Right at the line of scrimmage, he was able to make a cut and get to the outside. What a move by Tremaine Hill, putting his offense in a favorable position here on the 14-yard line. He barely stepped out of bounds. He almost scored on that play, Gavin.
Trying to walk the tightrope along the white line to the Katy sideline. 1st and 10 to the 14. Try to hand it off here again. Down to the 13. That's C.J. Watts, the sophomore running back who checks in. Watts on the year, the 10th grader, 48 carries, nearly 400 yards, and he's got a trio of touchdowns.
And that was the linebacker number 22, Braden Pino, on that tackle. Coach Mike Robbie said the linebacker room was a rebuild going into the season, but those guys have done a tremendous job through the first part of the year.
2nd down and 9 here inside the 15. Handoff, Watts squirts forward to the 12. Gain of a couple.
He didn't make the play right there, but Jimmy Frisco Alosuliafo, great penetration into the Katy Tigers backfield, forcing the run back inside where his teammates were waiting to wrap him up.
And Suliafu points to the Katy sideline, pointing at the ground, saying, "I'm here." He's been in the backfield all night. He will continue to live there if the Katy Tigers don't do something about it.
Caleb Harrison, the lone receiver out wide on 3rd and 8 for Katy. Play fake, Franklin rolling right. Franklin will tuck and run, looking for a block, and he's hammered down to the 8-yard line. Well shy of the line to gain. Needed 8, got half of it.
Smart decision by the quarterback, Franklin. No one open downfield, just tucks and runs, gets as much as he can, sets up a field goal.
I believe that was Carl Wesley lowering the boom right there. Definitely, potentially the smallest guy on the Katy Jordan defense, coming up huge with a big hit.
Now a 25-yard field goal try upcoming for the Tigers. Try to cut this down to a 7-point deficit off the foot of Giovanni Moreno. Moreno, money. It's a 7-point game with 4:10 to go in the 3rd.
They got the field goal unit out there too quick because I was going to talk about how good he was in the pregame. This dude nailed everything. He made every kick.
And that's the mark of a well-coached program, when their special teams are just as good as the offense and defensive side. So many times in high school football, that's where you see the drop-off, not with the Katy Tigers.
At Katy ISD, we're redefining the high school experience.
A DCTX Rising Game of the Week that has been incredible thus far.
At home or on the go, you know the power.
And Katy Jordan trying to make sure this one remains in their favor. They'll get the ball back here with just over 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. They still lead by 7.
The future of
Trying to pad onto it here.
Legacy Virtual High School, where your education meets your lifestyle.
Carter, I'm kind of excited. You know, we really didn't know what to expect in this game. Tanner West being sidelined, I thought was going to be a monumental thing for Katy Jordan. They've been able to overcome that. And one of the more interesting things I'm noting in this game is they've gotten some playmakers involved, but Ty Sexton really hasn't gotten going yet. So I look for him to get going maybe on this drive. He's already got offers from Sam Houston, Texas State, UNLV, Utah, and more. So he's definitely a highly desirable guy, and he has plenty of speed. He's also a Swiss Army knife himself, playing inside, outside, going in motion a lot. He's dangerous. This could be the guy that blows the top off of the Katy defense.
And this Katy Jordan program has quickly established themselves right there with Katy as one of the dominant teams in the district. Started varsity football in 2022. Last year had the breakout and 11-2 record, and this year at 5-2, and now bringing Katy down to the mat here at least with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. This is a knockdown, drag-out fight.
It's a must-win game for them. They've already lost one game to Cinco Ranch, who sits just above them in the district standings now as a result of that win over Katy Jordan. So a loss here would, in essence, potentially eliminate them from competing for the district title.
This kick will sail across the goal line, brought out nonetheless by Ty Sexton, who's cut down to the 15.
I thought they were going to let that one fly through the back of the end zone instead. Ty Sexton trying to get some momentum going, get his night started. It's going to start about the 15-yard line.
Turf got him a little bit there too, and he's nursing his toe, kind of walking off of the field. He was just a breath away from breaking a big one right there. I mean, if he didn't trip up, I think he had some space.
So the Jordan Warriors here start from their own 15. 4:04 to go, quarter 3. And the new drive begins for Thomas Ugate and crew. They motion Okanji. Handoff Patrick Spann, cutting to the outside. Spann carried out of bounds across the 21 to the 22, maybe the 21 and a half, and he picked up about 6.
What makes the effort so remarkable, too, is I don't want to keep harping on it too much about guys who can't play tonight. We want to talk about the guys who are, but Tanner West is such a big factor on this team, and is still a big factor as a vocal leader from the sideline. But it's not only him, it's the sophomore Jordan Hightower, who was a revelation for them this year at running back. Both those guys are out, and Spann has done a nice job filling in.
Highly efficient running back, makes the most out of all the space he's given.
Ugate near side, caught, breaking out of the initial tackle is Landon Williams, who's out of bounds with a sizable gain across the 42. First down, Katy Jordan.
He's having his coming out party tonight. We've said it a couple of times already. This guy, he's special.
Wide receivers having a coming out party, and so is the quarterback. They've established an early connection here. You got to feel like Coach Robbie saw a little bit of this in practice, and that's why he went with the quarterback, Ugate, tonight.
So we have a member of our officiating crew down to the near sideline. Play is stopped here with 3:51 to go in the third quarter. We're going to step aside here with 3:51 to go in this third quarter of ours.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Legacy, that isn't built in 4 quarters. It's how you change the game. Icons don't copy or imitate. They build and innovate. You can study the film. He's flipping the script. Milestones, just the results of the work. Never the...
We're back with under 4 to play in the third quarter. We hope everything's all right with that member of our officiating crew. And here it is 1st and 10 for the Jordan Warriors from their own 42-yard line. Far side, incomplete at the feet of Zach Taylor.
That play was going nowhere, even if he caught it.
Might have been dropped for a loss, probably for the best that one was incomplete for Jordan, and now it brings up 2nd and 10.
And this is a big second down play right here. You've got some momentum going. You gave up a field goal to Katy, but right now, playing a little bit behind the chains, you want to see a very positive play to set up a good third down situation. So far, they passed a lot of these tests.
In the slot to the near side, Rush Williams, the freshman. 2nd and 10, Ugate looking. Zips it, crossing route, dropped by Rush Williams. Thrown a little bit behind him.
Yeah, just the pass was just a little bit behind him. He did a good job to try to reel it in right there, but that's a hard play to make, reaching back behind your body, especially on a low throw.
Especially when you're running full speed the opposite direction of where the ball is. Massive third down here, and the Katy Tigers on the sideline are pumping their crowd up. They know how huge this is, and the Katy faithful, we saw them lined up outside the gates before they even were letting crowds in. They were lined up for this game. They knew how big it was. This is where the Tigers need them right now.
3:45 to go, third quarter. 3rd down and 10 for Jordan. They lead by 7 from their own 42. Ugate, play fake, fires, intercepted by Katy. Convoy out in front, down the sideline. Caleb Ritter, pick 6 for Katy.
Caleb Ritter with the play of the game thus far, and this stadium is going pandemonium mode. They know how huge that was because the offense, nothing has come easy tonight. And Katy Jordan has a chance to try to get a first down. The ball goes through her receiver's hands, and instead, Katy has tied this game up.
It's a story as old as time in Texas high school football. Katy, with its backs against the wall, relies on a huge defensive play to put them right back in this game. Extra point pending. We have a tie game with 3 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Buckle up, fellas.
The one thing Jordan could not do there was turn it over. They do that, and Ritter makes them pay and then some. A pick six from Caleb Ritter, the junior defensive back, and we're tied with the extra point at 17. How about that?
Texas high school football can change in the blink of an eye, and that's why these district games are so fun. There's so much on the line for both of these teams, not only to be the best in the city, but to be the best in the district and potentially get that number one seed heading into the 6A playoffs.
And how about the convoy of blockers that Ritter had? Quickly changing from defense to offense, those Katy Tigers did, flying down the left sideline. Fire up the band.
In an instant, this game has now been tied up, all knotted up at 17 apiece. Here with 3:34 to go, third quarter. And as we said, it's time to buckle up.
And this is where we're going to find out about the grit and tenacity of this junior quarterback, Thomas Ugate. A pick six where really just kind of a miscommunication. A lot of receivers bunched up in the area, goes off his receiver's hands, pick six. Now how do you respond when you're playing the Katy Tigers, the team that have always been the class of the district? They rarely, if ever, lose a district game, and you had them what felt like on the ropes, and in the blink of an eye, now the game is tied. How do you respond?
And it's worth noting that's really the first colossal mistake on the night from Thomas Ugate.
But it happened at an inopportune time right there. Everything was clicking for the offense. They were in the hurry-up mode. Official went down. Timing just a little bit off from that point on. Now we have a tie ball game.
And Katy here to send it back to Jordan. Both the deep men for the Warriors playing up near the 20. This one will sail to one of them. Fielded and stutter step hopping out of bounds near the 30. Ty Sexton to the 28. And very quickly will come back out the Warrior offense.
And Coach Mike Robbie talked to us in the pre-production meeting. Penalties and turnovers were the biggest points of emphasis because that is what's hindered this Jordan Warriors ball club through the first half of the season. We've only seen one penalty. We hadn't seen a turnover, but it happens at an inopportune time.
.331 to go in this third quarter. And Ugate will come back out, like we said, following a just colossal mistake on the pick six from Caleb Ritter. 1st and 10, they feed Span to the 31, gain of 3.
You see this Katy Tigers defense, they smell out there that this Katy Jordan Warriors team is vulnerable. You're starting to see them play with a little bit extra swagger. We never saw them panic, but we also didn't see this swaggering about that we're starting to see now.
Inside of 3 now to play in the third. 2nd down and 7 for Katy Jordan. Ugate pistol set, Span right behind him. They feed it back to PJ Span. Only a gain of a yard to bring up 3rd down and 6. Katy all over it.
That looks like number 21 from Katy. Joshua Garcia blew that play up, and I thought Span had some space out there on the counter play, but Garcia does a great job to blow that up and force a 3rd and long.
Both these crowds have risen to their feet. 3rd down and 6 from the 32 for Jordan. A massive 3rd down here late in the third, to say the least. Ugate on 3rd and 6, he's rolling. He's going to heave it downfield. That one stays in the air, and it is incomplete. Kind of a wacky play from the start, and a Warriors down.
And it looked like Ty Sexton right there thought that ball had a chance to be picked, so he completely altered what he was doing. He's changed to defensive back. But little did he know the defensive back fell down. Sexton might have had a chance to catch that ball if he was able to get his eyes on it.
And the ball landed right near him as he was diving towards the defender.
I love it, though, when a receiver has the awareness to make sure that an interception isn't going to happen, right? Sometimes you have to do that to protect the football. And now Katy Jordan is going to have a chance to get into a punting situation and try to back Katy up.
Here is Ty Sexton, the intended receiver, is down and still down. 2:01 to play in the third. We're going to step aside.
Legacy, that isn't built in 4 quarters. It's how you change the game. Icons don't copy or imitate. They build and innovate. You can study the film. He's flipping the script. Milestones, just the results of the work. Never the reason for it. He never chased stats, but the numbers do speak. And 1-5 says 1 of 1.
And the punt for the Warriors.
They helped Ty Sexton off to the far sideline. We want to wish well Ty Sexton, who had a chance at that ball. It falls incomplete. He's shaken up. Hope he's all right. The punt, meanwhile, is sent to the 42, and a fair catch called for on a very low and line drive punt off the foot of the Jordan punter there. And Katy will start with favorable field position here.
It looked like he almost threw that. It looked like he almost threw that, the way it was such a line drive.
And we're starting to see this game change a little bit. Katy has had to sustain some long drives, but over the last 3 or 4 possessions, they've had more favorable field positions, which really benefits their offensive game plan.
And so Katy comes out here starting at their own 43 officially, under 2 to play in the third. And the Tigers a chance here, take the lead for the first time tonight. They start the drive with Tremaine Hill, who's going nowhere. Cut down at the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Jimmy Frisco Alosuliafu is a monster. Greg Powers.
Who?
Jimmy 2 times.
Jimmy 2 times. So good you got to say his name 2 times.
Down to 95 seconds here in the third quarter, late stages of the third. And it brings up 2nd and 10 after a run for nothing by Tremaine Hill. I formation, toss out Hill. Tremaine Hill with a stiff arm, cuts. Tremaine Hill down the sideline. What a run for Tremaine Hill! And he's out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
What vision and patience on that run. Let the play string itself out, get you a little bit of light, hit the hole, get north and south. That's what a good Katy running back does.
They mark him out at the 26. What a run for Tremaine Hill.
That's why he's the 7th leading rusher in Katy Tigers football history, and they have pumped out some Division I running backs.
Fresh set picked up for Hill. After gaining nothing on the first play, he gains a lot on the next one. Here they feed it to Manuel. Manuel down at the line of scrimmage. No gain here. Takes us down inside of a minute, late third.
Carter, I'm going to look and see what we got Jimmy Frisco Alosuliafu listed at right now. His weight. We have him listed at 6'3", 260. He looks that he's like about 275, but he is pretty quick off the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't move like a guy that's almost 300 pounds. He moves like he's a tight end.
Looking to throw is Franklin. Franklin, end zone shot. It's caught for the touchdown by Caden McCall, and Katy's got the first lead of the night.
If you need a big play, call Caden McCall. We haven't seen his number called just yet, but there it is when Katy needs the big play, and that is a vintage Katy Tigers drive. Game is tied up. They haven't had a lead all night, and Tremaine Hill makes a miraculous run and then sets up the play-action pass. Perfect. Textbook.
Yeah, textbook Katy offense right there. Cade McCall coming wide open. How about a time for his first reception of the night?
Cade McCall, the Utah State commit, reels it in from Jackson Franklin. Katy's got a 24-17 lead. Here with 31 seconds to play in the third, and that pass could not have been better from Franklin. The catch, perhaps even better from McCall.
Franklin put it right on his face mask, and you see that Katy Jordan, Christian Leaphart, who is a running back linebacker, was matched up in coverage there. A bit of a mismatch with your best wide receiver going against a linebacker type body. And we saw that Katy tried to hit that play earlier in the night, and the pass was too far away to have a chance at it. But if you give Cade McCall a chance, he's going to go make a play.
Yeah, he got great separation at the beginning of that route, took advantage of it at the end of the route, did a good job of high pointing the ball and making sure that it didn't hit the ground. Great touchdown drive there by Katy. All the momentum in the Tigers' favor right now.
Tigers here to send it back to Katy Jordan. And Katy High leads it 24-17, 31 seconds to play in the third. This one brought out of the end zone. Brought out by Austin Baird. And another drive going to start at the 15 via return for the Warriors.
And you're seeing these Katy Jordan kick returners want to kickstart some momentum of themselves. They know their offense needs a pick-me-up, so they're taking the ball deep out of their own end zone. But this Katy Tigers coverage team is too good.
And next man up should be the mentality of this Katy Jordan offense. They're now down Ty Sexton. They don't have Tanner West. They don't have Jordan Hightower. But guess what they do have? They have Benny Aquara, Rush Williams, Landon Williams, and Austin Baird as well, working in Zachary Taylor some on the offense tonight. So there's still plenty of weapons out here.
First and 10 from the 15, the two outside receivers here, Williams and Williams. They zip it to Spann. Patrick Spann up to the 21, a gain of 6.
How about the freshman with the block up top, Carter?
Yeah, he might be a freshman, but he's making some big boy blocks out there.
Block laid out by Rush Williams, one of the more highly touted freshman players here in the state of Texas.
And I love the play call, too, because it's basically just an extension of the run game, but also gets your quarterback back in a rhythm.
We've played 3 complete as the third quarter comes to a close, 24-17. Katy, the Tigers hold a 7-point lead as we go to the fourth.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Come enjoy the heart of Katy, Texas, a family-friendly hometown rich in traditions and heritage and one of the most delightful cities in the Lone Star State. It's a short drive from Houston and minutes from the Energy Corridor. With places to stay and places to play, anything you'd like to eat, and an old town charm that can't be beat. Activities and fun for the entire family. Enjoy the best of both worlds in the City of Champions, Katy, Texas. For more information, go to cityofkaty.com.
We're back to start quarter number 4, and after the touchdown strike to McCall, it's 24-17 Tigers. Katy Jordan, meanwhile, in the offensive front, 2nd and 4 from their own 21. Dumped off to Spann. Spann may have got a yard. 3rd down coming up for the Warriors.
Tremendous tackle out there by Cooper Knott. Carter, that's your guy, and the coach has high praise for him coming into this one.
Yeah, Coach Joseph said he is the defensive leader in terms of getting them set up, aligned correctly, having the checks. He knows this weak equal defense like the back of his hand, and he has made almost interceptions tonight. He's made tackles in the backfield tonight. He's everywhere.
He's the guy that's just always around the football. He has a nose for it.
3rd and 3. Katy Jordan sitting at their own 22. Handoff Akanji. Looking for the first down. He's close. And he's got it by maybe half a yard.
It's a big-time run by Akanji. You do not want to punt away the football and give Katy a chance to go up 2 scores. Instead, keep possession with having to break some tackles to make that first down.
Tremendous second effort there. It looked like they were starting to bring him down just short of the sticks. Keeps his legs turning and spins through to pick up the first down there.
John Okanji, the junior, has had a couple big runs tonight. That one probably the biggest by far on the night for the junior tailback, and now it's 1st and 10 to the 26. Play fake to Okanji. Ugate's shot downfield is broken up, and a great defensive rep out there in the secondary, Carter.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what number that was. Looks like number 32, Caleb Walters. That was dropped in the breadbasket by Ugate, but Walters, terrific play on the ball. And you've seen cornerbacks step up with Isaiah McMillian, the Kentucky commit, out for most of the season thus far.
That was a great pass. I think he got a hand in there, Carter, to break that ball up. At the last second, he was able to sneak his right arm in there and break up that pass. What a tremendous, tremendous defensive play right there.
After the incompletion broken up by Caleb Walters, now it's 2nd down and 10 for Katy Jordan. They motion Akanji, they pump it to him. Heave near side, jump ball is picked by Katy. Coming up with the INT way downfield, David Alotu Judah, the sophomore.
And Alotu Judah, the sophomore, has had 2 older brothers play for Coach Gary Joseph at Katy, and he has stepped up in a big-time way. We just talked about Isaiah McMillian, the defensive heartbeat of this team, being out all season thus far. Alotu Judah has been a guy that has stepped up in a big-time way. He does so right here, too. Now Katy, with a 24-17 lead, gets the ball back.
A little misleading wearing number 42, usually a guy that you see in the box, right? Tremendous awareness to get his foot down inbounds. He had just a smidge of green between him and the sidelines.
Brings back out the Katy offense from the 41 in their own territory, 9 yards short of the 50. And a golden opportunity here to try to break the back perhaps of the Warriors for Tremaine Hill and company. To the outside, Tremaine Hill wasting no time, making a cut. Here's Tremaine Hill hopping out of bounds inside the 35.
And Jeremy Frisco Alusuliafu begging for a holding call on that play. The flag doesn't come out, and Tremaine Hill gashes the Katy Jordan defense once again.
This is where Tremaine Hill starts to wear you down as a defense. Early in the game, a lot of 3-4 yard runs. Those are turning into 20 and 30 yard runs now.
As Tremaine Hill hopped out of bounds at the 34-yard line of Jordan, 1st and 10 with 10:24 remaining. Pitch out Manuel. And Manuel going nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage, nothing doing. And there is a flag down at the 35-yard line.
Check the flag, but senior linebacker Michael Akinua made a terrific play.
Yeah, just brought him down with one arm. It looks like he reached a big mid out there and just pulled him down right where he was standing.
Check the call here from Mike Richard and his Houston area officiating crew. Holding is the call against Isaac Coffrin, the junior, along that Katy offensive line.
And if you're a Jordan fan, you're looking for anything to keep Katy out of scoring points right here, right? So this is a huge penalty, puts them behind the chains, and your defense has to get off the field to give your offense a chance here late in the 4th quarter. I guess it's early in the 4th quarter, but late in the game.
1st and about 20 here from the 44 for Katy. Looking to throw Franklin near side. Caught! Spinning out of the tackle. Here goes Cade McCall. House call for McCall. Touchdown Tigers.
All he does is catch touchdowns. That's it.
That's the second completion from Jackson Franklin in the second touchdown. Efficiency in the pass game.
No doubt about it. And That was a backbreaker for Katy Jordan right there. Cade McCall slipped out of that tackle, dashing to the end zone, and the Katy Tigers fans over here right beneath our booth are elated right now.
Cade McCall, the Utah State commit, came into the game on the year, guys. 4 catches, 29 yards, 7.25 yards per catch. You guys how many touchdowns? None. How many tonight? 2. And Katy leads 31-17.
Utah State's doing a pretty good job in recruiting the Houston area. You got Cade McCall committed right now, but they also have North Shore quarterback Kayla Maryland, who is our number 10 rated prospects in the quarterback rankings in the class of 2026, an elite arm who also plays for one of the best teams in the Houston area.
And now 31-17, Katy up. A huge drive for Katy Jordan coming up. Need to get back some momentum because it is all on the Katy Tigers side.
Here with 9:52 left to play. They threw it short to Cade McCall. He broke out of that initial tackle, and that's all he needed. Nothing else. And now if you guys, if you're Katy Jordan, you got 9:52 left. You're down 2 scores, though, and somewhere in the middle, you got to get the ball back. So you got to go rather quickly, I'd say. Not exactly an emergency, but you got to go.
I would classify it as emergency at this point.
Emergency
Because the way Katy runs the football here and can just ice the game down, you need points at this juncture. But this Katy defense now is playing with their ears pinned back because they sense that Katy Jordan's pressing, and now that their offense has started to pick up the pace a little bit and scoring some touchdowns in a quick way, they're playing with a lot more confidence on the defensive side. Big-time complimentary football going on here.
And what an answer by Katy, because they came out in the second half, gave up a long touchdown drive to Katy Jordan, went down by 10 points, and since that time, 24 unanswered points. Or, excuse me, 21 unanswered points since then.
We'll see if Katy kicks this one returnable for Jordan. They've run back out the last pair to the 15-yard line when they probably could have let it go into the end zone and started at the 25, so we'll watch this one here.
I would try to return it because you need the big play now, right? Like, I would want my guy to return it.
See how Katy kicks this one off the foot of the kickoff specialist, Sebastian Perez. And Jordan expecting a rather short kick here. Fielded and sliding down to the 29. Better starting field position than what we had talked about prior to the kick.
Second time we've seen the turf monster get Katy Jordan on the kickoff returns.
Yeah, the first time it was Ty Sexton. I think this time it was Mo Poco sliding down after making the catch as the up man.
9:49 to play. Katy Jordan, plenty of work to be done here on the offensive side, and then we'll say it again, somewhere in the middle, you got to get the ball back from the Tigers. Between the 2 scores they need here, down 14. And now perhaps a little confusion as they may be missing somebody. Yeah, they got someone coming on late with the play clock down to 11.
That's their touchdown guy, Jackson Allen.
Newgate hands it off after Allen came on late. And not a ton of running room there, maybe 2 yards picked up via span.
Cooper Knott, man, that dude, he came flying downhill. And Carter, you talked about the confidence that the defense is starting to play with, powered by the success of the offense, and you can see it in that tackle.
Yeah, the Katy Tigers are unlocked now and unleashed.
Brings up second down, 8 to go. Newgate motion Span into the flat. They dump it to him with 2 blockers out in front, and Span steps out near the 39-yard line. A gain of 7 to bring up third down and about a yard.
Once again, the freshman, Rush Williams, blocking on the edge. That's pretty impressive from the young man.
Yeah, he looks like he's about 6'1", 160 pounds, got plenty of speed, gets out of his routes really good, but I'm also impressed by what you just pointed out, Carter, to have the nose to be a blocking guy. That's going to help boost his college profile. He's already got 5 or 6 offers.
3rd and 1 from their own 39. Little confusion in the backfield. Span not going to get there. Back to the line of scrimmage. He needed a yard. He got none.
I think that is number 97, Brian Godfrey, on the tackle. I'm saying that with a bit of a question mark. Because there's so many Katy Tigers in the backfield, it's hard to tell which one got the tackle.
It was a play that was just doomed from the start. It was off schedule. The handoff wasn't smooth. And against this Katy Tigers defense, that's not what you're looking for. That's not going to work.
4th down in the yard. Katy Jordan, you got to go for it. The Tiger defense and the Katy crowd smells blood in the water. Ugate handoff. Span. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and Katy takes over.
Tremendous job on the last 2 plays by the Katy defensive front lines. Controlling the line of scrimmage, playing with good leverage, and getting tremendous push right there to bring him down short of the first down. Advantage Katy. They could salt this game away with some points on the board on this drive.
And it's Jeremiah Smith. It's number 39, from the defensive tackle spot. He was the guy I was looking at last game. Shane Cade, I thought it was 99. It is actually 39. Shane Cade just made 2 stops on 2 consecutive plays when Katy Jordan needed 2 yards.
How about Shane 2 times?
And here with 8:18 to play, Katy takes over from the plus 39 with a fresh set of downs and a new drive, trying to put the nail in the coffin. Fullback dive to the 35, a gain of 4.
And I fully expect Katy to keep it in the middle of the field right here. They know how to bleed the clock.
On the run, George. His 3rd carry of the night came in with 4, and he's got a trio so far in this second half.
Yep, Katy's got him on the mat, and they're looking for the pin.
2nd down and 6 from the Jordan 35 here for the Tigers. Franklin, handoff, Manuel. And Manuel squirts free for a first down, seemingly.
And Manuel's 5'9", 160, but he runs like he's 6 foot 180 at least with that power.
He runs with that little bit of forward lean, right? And he's always picking up yards after contact. It's great to have Tremaine Hill, but I really like the change of pace that Manuel brings to the table because he runs tough. He fits in with the motto of this offense and gives them a little bit of a different look.
Approaching 7 minutes to play. 1st and 10 from the 29. Toss out. Manuel. Only a pickup of a yard, maybe 2 that time.
But notice how he's not bouncing this outside because the coaches have instructed him, keep this ball in the middle of the field. Let the clock bleed out. We are now under 7 minutes. Katy with a 31-17 lead.
Even on that play, it didn't go for much, but he went down moving forward.
2nd down, and they call it a long 8. Looking to throw is Franklin. Far side, that's caught. It's McCall down inside the 20.
I didn't have that on my bingo card, guys. Didn't think we were going to see him put the ball in the air right there.
Another catch for Cade McCall, and that one puts him a yard shy of a first.
This passing attack just adds a new dimension to the Katy offense. We saw them in the first half, did not complete a pass, but it's really opened up in the second half here with Franklin's arm.
3rd and a yard. Knocking on the door of the red zone. Handed off straight away, George, the fullback. First down, Katy for Fio George.
How often do you see a fullback in Texas high school football these days? I haven't seen one yet on a Rising Game of the Week.
Well, I've been waiting. We've had rankings, doing prospect rankings on Dave Campbell's Texas football since 2012. No fullback has made an appearance in those rankings or had a profile yet. It remains empty.
Emphasis on yet.
There you go.
Because we're always looking for fullbacks, and we found one here tonight with George, number 38.
Fio George, the junior, bringing back fullback, start the movement. As we have a stoppage in play here, 6:02 remaining. Haven't taken a timeout off the board yet. Like, because there wasn't one.
Yeah, interesting. Both teams were huddled up on their own sideline. Now the clock's still running. It's under 6 minutes.
And a 1st and 10 for Katy from the Jordan 15 either way. Pitch out Tremaine Hill. Turning the corner, Tremaine Hill churning down inside the 7. They mark him just shy of the 5. And he's about a yard shy of that line to gain.
And he tried his hardest to make sure he didn't go out of bounds. He tried to stay in bounds so the clock kept going. I do believe I saw the referee blow him, crossing arms, looked like he went out.
Clock is stopped here ahead of a 2nd and 1 snap from the 6, indicating that Tremaine Hill did indeed, in some capacity, go out of bounds. Here with 5:38 to play. From the 6. Handoff. Tremaine Hill looking for the 1st down inside the 5 to the 4. He's got it to bring up 1st and goal for Katy. And the Tigers trying to put this one out of reach.
And if you're Katy Jordan, you're doing anything you can. Rip, claw at the ball. Try to get that ball on the turf so you can pick it up and make something happen.
It's one of those rare occasions. Go for the strip over the tackle even, because that's the only chance now.
Energy into the home side of Mike Johnston Field at Legacy Stadium. This Katy crowd can feel it with 5 minutes to play. 1st and goal from the 5. Stretch play. Tremaine Hill will turn the corner into the end zone. Touchdown, Tremaine Hill. And Katy with 4:55 to play. About to be leading by 21 potentially.
Here's your chance. Come to Texas. Get you a sleeper. Tremaine Hill recently picked up an offer from Washington State, but this is a guy who deserves more. So smooth. He just galloped into the end zone right there.
Yeah, he might be 7th on the all-time leading rushers list at Katy High School, but tonight he is the king of the hill. Coach Gary Joseph said he's gotten faster through track this year. He's 200 pounds, does not mind getting the tough yardage, but he showed that speed around the edge.
Extra point, just for good measure, is tacked on. It's 38-17, Katy. 4:55 to play. And the Tigers, guys, have seemingly put this one out of reach, but if you're Jordan, we said earlier, Carter and I, you and I were talking about, maybe it's an emergency situation, maybe it's not. Now it definitely is, right? Now you got to go, and you got to just do anything you can to try to claw back into this one.
Yeah, you need a touchdown, and then you need an onside kick, and then you need another touchdown, and then probably another onside kick. With 4:55 left, I mean, there is time, but the way that Katy can milk the clock is really not much.
Not much hope for Jordan right now in this contest, but I liked what I've seen from the Warriors on this night. In a game where they needed to turn and find some new playmakers, those playmakers have developed. They're not going to be able to win the 19-6A district championship this year, but the playoffs loom ahead, and they need to develop these guys. And this is the exact game to develop them in versus Katy. A tough Katy team, a perennial champion in Katy. Jordan now needs to keep these guys clicking on all cylinders. So getting some points on the board right here would be a win.
Yeah, the Jordan quarterback, junior Thomas Ugate, making his first start against Katy, that is a sink-or-swim moment for him, and I think he's handled himself admirably tonight.
Kickoff return for Jordan from back inside the 20. Up to the 30 goes Taylor.
And guess what? His fellow junior, Landon Williams, emerged as his favorite target. So that not only shows what they can do the rest of this season, but also next season.
And guys, we talked about how this is, it's an all Katy district, right? They started district play back in week 3. There's a lot of math that goes into this district in terms of, who's going to go Division 1, who's going to go Division 2. Particularly Katy, depending on, what other teams make the postseason every year. And it's kind of it's interesting, right? You never really know going into the season. Depends on a couple other teams besides Katy. You can usually pencil Katy into the playoffs every year. It's become a tradition, but the other teams really make or break who goes Division 1 and who goes D2.
Well, this is a wide open district to me because you have Cinco Ranch strong out of the start at 4-1. Katy Jordan sitting at 4-1 before tonight's game, and Katy sitting at 4-0. Behind that, you have teams that are jockeying for playoff position, and I think you can even put Katy Jordan into that mix right now. Katy Mady Creek, Katy Pato, and Katy Tompkins. These are teams that are all hungry victory to make the playoffs, but 2 of those teams are going to get left out.
One of the more competitive districts in the state. I know Katy wins it most, if not all the time, but that 2nd to 4th spot there is always up for grabs.
So much talent in District 19 6A year in, year out. 4:09 to play. Timeout Katy Jordan as the play clock was set to expire, down to 2 seconds. Timeout brought to you by the City of Katy. And we talked about Cinco Ranch a little bit, guys. That's a team that, they beat Katy Jordan 2 weeks ago now, 24-21. A team that sits pretty high up in the standings themselves.
But they have also already lost to Katy.
Right.
So this is a commanding game right now, commanding position for the Katy Tigers. It looks like it's going to be tough to dethrone them since they've already beaten the Cougars in district play.
Again, a lot that goes into seeding, and especially by division in this district. Katy, of course, essentially the one constant. Pato, another good squad, 2 Powers.
Yeah, they're a team that I'm consistently intrigued by. Head coach David Hicks Sr., he knows what he's doing, especially on the defensive front. His son, DJ Hicks, of course, at Texas A&M, but they got a defensive lineman this year that I'm really high on. That's Daryl Campbell, 6'2", 310 pounds. He's an absolute monster, and they've started to develop some offensive playmakers there as well over the last couple of weeks, especially running back Kenneth Lee. This is a guy who has opened a lot of eyes on throughout the course of play so far in 2025.
And guess who there on the tackle, Carter?
Jeremiah Smith with an absolute bulldog of a hit out there, future Louisiana Tech player.
He's a throwback. I love it. Blue collar mentality, drop you where you stand type of linebacker.
Bring up a 3rd and 10 here for Katy Jordan from the 30-yard line. 4 minutes to play. The clock is stopped.
It was an incomplete pass on that last throw. Jeremiah Smith knocked it out.
And now it's 3rd down and 10. Ugate far side. Cut down immediately. Zach Taylor nowhere to run after the catch.
And that Tigers defense is having some fun out there now. You can see it plain as day. They got their ears pinned back and they're looking for the big hit.
Yeah, I think that one was number 21, Joshua Garcia. Garcia, 5'9", 170, has made some big hits tonight. That's multiple times I've seen him in the backfield on the outer edge.
You guys, one thing that we've seen, especially in the second half, and we've seen since probably before all of us were born here, when the Katy defense is playing well, Powers, I don't know, maybe not you, when the Katy defense is playing well, they're one of the harder teams to beat in Texas high school football across any classification. The second half has proved that to be true.
Yeah, and not only did they give up just 2 touchdowns tonight and pitched a shutout after that first drive of the second half, they had a pick 6 of their own. So they got on the board themselves.
I don't have anything else to say, but ouch, Gavin. Ouch.
I don't know what year you were born, man.
You're trying to do the math in your head and it's not computing, I guess.
No, not a math guy. No.
I'll give you a pass.
We're not math guys, we're football guys.
It's true. 3:14 to play. Katy takes over 1st and 10 from their own 40. And they're going to try to eat this last 3 minutes and 14 seconds here and take it into week 9 next Friday next week versus Katy Pato, that is, with a win. First play of the new drive going to C.J. Watts.
Braden Pino sniffs that one out. He's made a couple of nice plays tonight, too, from the linebacker room. Mike Robbie said that going into the season, the linebacker room was a bit of a rebuild project. Not a lot of proven starters there, but they have handled themselves very well through the start of the season. And even tonight, this is a tough task for them. It's a run-first Katy offense, but they have made some big-time plays.
Big game coming up next week for Katy Jordan. They play Katy Taylor in a game that I think gets them into the playoffs with a win. And then they'll finish the season up at Katy Pato, well, here in Katy, after a bye week. That game could come down to the last playoff spot, but I think that Katy Jordan's sitting pretty with the win over Katy Taylor next week.
Very late bye week there for Katy Jordan. The Warriors, that week 10 bye, like you said before, they're air quotes at Pado. Yeah, week 10 bye is always interesting, right? Because if it comes down to that last game for a playoff spot, you have an extra week to prepare. But you also have to play, essentially 9 weeks in a row before that, and 9 games in a row before you finally get your bye.
And this is a deep district, right? This is a 9-team district where you're playing all inner-city teams week in and week out. Every game means something, whether it's a big game for playoff seeding or a big game to get in the playoffs. There's no week off in this district.
Hit the 2-minute timeout here.
And how about the response from Katy this season, starting 0-2 for the first time since 2008? We mentioned that the last time Katy started 0-2, they won the state championship, and they've shown a similar response this year, just with moving into pole position for the District 19 6A championship with wins over Cinco Ranch and now Katy Jordan, the two teams that were right up with them at the top of the district standings. And I could see this team making serious noise in the playoffs like they normally do.
And a little bit of unfamiliar territory for Gary Joseph's Katy Tigers. They're not rated within the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Top 25 in 6A right now. This could be the type of win that moves them up the list and gets them back where they're used to being.
Coming out of the 2-minute timeout here, 3rd down and 12. New quarterback appears to be in the game here for Katy. It's going to be the junior Mason Hartwell. Little flip on the end around here for the Tigers. Blocker out in front and cut down about a yard shy of a first down. Goes Caleb Harrison. Maybe 2 yards.
How about the big guy, Jackson Heeman, out there trying to get a block? I was waiting for him to destroy the defensive back. I guess fortunately for the defensive back, he was a little bit quicker.
Well, that's the stuff as a defensive back you see in your nightmares.
Right.
When you go to bed the night before the Katy game.
He was chewing up ground so fast, I thought we were about to see a huge pancake.
The 4th and 2 here with about $1:20 left. And if you're Katy, take this one down and I don't want to say go for it necessarily. You pick up the first down, the game's over, but you want to give Jordan the ball back here. You want to just pick up 2 yards, and that's pretty much the game. So for the sake of ending the game, I say go for it if you're Katy.
I don't think that's the type of ball they play. I
agree.
I think they're punting this ball, make sure that Katy Jordan doesn't get any points.
Powers, what did you see tonight from the senior offensive lineman Adedapo Adetosoye, who is one of the state's top uncommitted players per your rankings? I believe you wrote an article about him earlier with all those other top uncommitted players.
Well, first and foremost, the Katy offensive front is quite massive. I believe that I look out there and I would guess that almost all those guys are over 300 pounds. I love what I've seen out of him because he's a true interior guy. Like sometimes you're looking at these guys and they're going from tackle to the inside. Well, this is a guy who's born and bred to be an offensive guard at the next level. And if you're looking for somebody to clear lanes in the trenches, give me him.
Katy lined up for at least a hard count here, if not actually going for it. Jordan tries to bite. No flag here with 1:09 to play. Now they're going to go for it, trying to eat the last minute or so off this clock. They're not going to get it. Turnover on downs. Jordan will take over with 1:03 to play.
Well, they sent the sophomore running back C.J. Watts into the teeth of the defense. He is 5'5", 145 pounds, running right up the middle, fearless from the sophomore.
Well, I've talked to some people that say he's got next up here in this Katy Tigers offense. Not the biggest guy, but he's plenty explosive. So if you're looking to the future, you're watching this game right now, you're a Katy fan, that was your look at C.J. Watts. He came up a little bit short, but at 5'5", 145 pounds, he plays behind his pads, and he can hide behind those big offensive linemen to gash defenses. I'm pretty excited about his future, guys.
As are we. 63 seconds to play. 1st and 10 from the +48 for Katy Jordan. Hand it off here, down to the 44. New running back in the game here for the Warriors down there. That looks like Guillory. And another snap or two should likely end this one, barring an incompletion.
Give me some Rush Williams on one of these plays. Let me see the freshman cook.
He's lined up down low at the bottom of your screen at wide receiver. Handoff and another tackle at the line of scrimmage for Katy. And perhaps one last one for good measure.
Garcia again. These safeties for Katy, they don't just cover the pass. They stick their nose in there like linebackers.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen out of them all night long. Cooper Knott is a stock-up guy for me. He's the type of guy that you have in the heart of your defense on a state championship contending team.
Final seconds will trickle away. Katy roars back. Do the Tigers to win this one 38-17 in a very convincing second half from Katy here at Mike Johnston Field at Legacy Stadium. Final thoughts, Carter, before we let Powers name the player of the game.
Well, after the first drive of the second half, Katy Jordan took this lead 17-7, and it felt like Katy was on the ropes a bit. All the momentum was on the Katy Jordan side. It was a sea of black that we could see rising up, thinking, hey, is this going to be Katy's second district loss since 2009? But there's no panic on this Katy Tigers sideline. They are too well coached. They are too disciplined, and they kept playing their game in the defense with a pick six that totally changed this game. And that was by Caleb Ritter. I wanted to get his name right because that young man made the play of the game.
Greg Powers, our Elite Source Evaluators, player of the game.
You know what? My heart tells me to give it to Cade McCall, but there would be no win for the Katy Tigers without Tremaine Hill at running back. Went for over 1,000 yards tonight. 17 touchdowns now on the season. My game ball goes to him. What a tough job in the trenches, and has the speed to hit it to the outside. Congratulations, Tremaine Hill and the Katy Tigers, for a big 19-6A victory tonight.
Tremaine Hill, our king of the hill tonight for the Elite Source Evaluators player of the game. And Katy looking to remain king of the hill in 19-6A. They pick up another win. They move to 5-0. Up next versus Pato next week. Katy Jordan drops to 4-2 in District 19. They will face Katy Taylor next Friday. That'll do it for us here in the DCTX Rising Game of the Week, whether you tune in on TexanLive.com or on YouTube.com/@DaveCampbell's. Thank you for tuning in. We got another one for you guys coming up next week somewhere in the Houston area. And that'll do it for us. I want to thank Carter Yates, Greg Powers, and Mallory Hartley up here in the booth with us. Signing off here from Mike Johnston Field at Legacy Stadium, I'm Gavin Moritz saying thank you, stay safe, and good night, everyone, from Katy.